Our story is about a guy who seeks and achieves his transcendence, and finally is reborn in paradise. Or not. The guy returned as a young man and now he was just under a girl. He faces the crazy girl, but realizes she is quite fierce. This world is actually a bit strange. It seems to be on the tip of the tongue. Why would it be so different? That's right, in this world, women are in charge. But is there any world where they are not in charge? But our hero is not from this world and arrives all clever. He is going to get a bunch of girlfriends, like this girl with black hair, this other one with purple hair, and this little Lolita with pink hair. Of course, at some point, this was going to go wrong. But you only live once, or in this guy's case, twice is already guaranteed. A girl smoking watches a guy sleeping. That's a bit weird. And she is surprised when she notices that he woke up. But our boy panics, not knowing where he is and what is happening. He jumps out of bed startled. While the girl thinks that the drug's effect wore off quickly, but she finds people who wake up more attractive. He looks a bit confused by that bizarre situation, questioning if he has been reborn while panicking, of course. 300 years ago, he entered the fairy world and began his evolution. And during that time, he worked hard to gain knowledge, working day and night. He flies out with his sword all pumped up. And when he reached the realm of eternity, but instead of opening the gates of time and space, he returned to Earth at 17 years old. At that moment, he wants to know what kind of woman that is and what she wants with him. Then she tells him not to be shy and to come over. The boy says it seems there has been a misunderstanding and that he will leave, not even going to enjoy the situation. But suddenly she stands up and questions that. She tells him to go and ask when Yi Chengxi lets her doves go, and that it is a blessing to be with her. But he just ignores her and turns to leave. She gets a bit irritated and grabs the boy by the arm. Our MC holds her arm tightly, and a power struggle begins there. The girl's cigarette even flies away, but he realizes he doesn't have much energy, so he takes the worst of it and flies away. He supports himself on the ground, adjusting himself, and notices his school uniform there, deciding to make a run for it. Our hero quickly grabs his clothes. He runs away with the woman watching in the background. That woman takes another drag on her cigarette and is surprised that he managed to escape from her. She says she won't let him get away, and that Shu Ting is her little bunny. Our hero reaches the streets of the city but seems a bit tense. He observes all the hustle and bustle of the city. He is very happy to see his parents and siblings again after 300 years. He hears a woman questioning why she should cry over just buying a purse. Irritated, she says she will buy the purse today so he won't cry. Then the boy gets all cute, saying she is very kind, which is actually a bit bizarre. Our MC finds the situation a bit tense. Then someone tells him to get off the street so he doesn't block it. A giant woman passes by him carrying several bags of cement. She is heading to a construction site with a bunch of strong women working. He seems to not fully understand the situation. He wonders what the heck is going on, thinking everything is very different from when he lived there. The young man decides to seek answers at the library. He sees books stating that a cataclysmic event occurred and altered women's psychology, making them stronger. A little later, a woman emerged and created the ideology that women were superior to men. In the 21st century, this idea began to change, but some values still remain. When there is an affair, a man is called unfaithful. But it seems normal for women to go hunting for men. He finds the whole situation very crazy, and he wonders if his family is also like that. Then he arrives home and finds them. He runs excitedly and jumps on his father, happy to see him. Lin Yuantu asks him if he isn't going to meet his friends after school. Then the father gives a sniff at the boy's head and is startled to find some perfume. He becomes desperate, saying it's dangerous for a handsome guy like him to be out there and that he should stay alert. He shows a newspaper article about a young man who was abused and now has no future. Our hero feels a bit tense and scared by this. They say they don't expect much from his sister, who was just hanging around, but he can get into a good college. Embarrassed, he tells them not to worry about him, that everything is fine, and asks about his mother. He says she is chatting about business outside. He mentions it's time for dinner and that he will call his sister. Then he goes to her room and opens the door slowly. The girl seems excited in an educational situation on the computer. She asks if he wants a reward and that it's not a problem. Our hero feels awkward about the situation. He seems to not believe it, wondering if he is dreaming. Suddenly, the girl inside almost has a fit with the noise outside. She falls to the ground, asking what the heck that is. Then she goes outside to see what is happening. She smiles at our MC, who is a bit irritated. Yi Chengxi asks if she doesn't see the educational material inside. More satisfied, she says it was just a cute guy with a nice body she was looking at, and she says it's not something for little boys like him. Then she continues on her way, stretching. He finds the situation a bit strange. Some time later, the girl appears in the room. She says she is going out to eat with friends and asks for some money. Her father questions why she needs to go out dressed up. And now another one says she needs to socialize and do some work together. The guy tells her to learn from her brother and stop being a hassle. but she says there is nothing to learn from him since he can marry a rich woman in the future. He scolds her, saying it's not easy for their mother to make money. Our hero asks if it's okay for him that she goes out like that. He says he can't keep his sister like he did with him. She needs to go out and make money, but she just gets into trouble. Yi Chengxi thinks the world is quite feminist. Finally, our hero's mother, Xu Qianan, enters the room. He runs and hugs her tightly. She is confused and asks if his allowance is not enough. Then she gives him some money. Before, he had to trick her to earn a little cash. Now she is giving it easily. But he comes back and says he doesn't need that. But she says it's nonsense and that despite the family going through difficulties, she won't let his academic life suffer. Then she asks where her daughter is. Irritated, the guy tells her not to talk about her. But the woman says she didn't raise her for that, and that one day she will understand the importance of responsibility. Our hero watches the two of them chatting. He finds everything very strange, even knowing it's a different world. The woman says that one day she will receive this while her husband asks if she is hungry. Our MC feels tense thinking about whether his future will be like this, but he feels nauseous just imagining it. Unable to bear the scene, he goes to his room. Upon entering, he finds a very cozy room, wondering if this is his room. He thinks that in this world, women are more respected than men, and this has influenced everything. In this world, for a woman to have a handsome man, she needs to have a house and a car, while the man only needs to be good looking. Our young man knows he is attractive to most of them. He opens a drawer in his desk. He finds a bunch of notes he received at school. He feels tense with all that stuff spilling out of the drawer. Irritated, he thinks he needs to develop himself and leave this world soon. He knows that the aura here is very rich and pure, and that he can regain all his powers with training. He begins to meditate and intends to open the halls of time and space in his original world. But what he really wants is to get out of this strange world as quickly as possible. He spends a long time meditating there, and he realizes he has managed to sharpen his senses. He concentrates to try to test that power. He can perceive his parents sleeping, and that his troublesome sister is not at home. Slapping his hand on his face, he remembers that the world is upside down and that this is not a surprise. Suddenly, his sister is calling him. Irritated, he asks what is going on, but she screams for him to listen to her first, and it seems she is really in trouble this time. She tells him not to talk to their parents or call the police while she is being restrained by gangsters. Startled, he questions what happened. Then she gives the address and asks him to grab the bag from under the bed to take to her, and the gang leader tells him to do it if he doesn't want to see the girl hurt. Our MC is left speechless on the phone and hangs up. Then he does what he was told and goes to the window. He jumps out with his backpack, thinking he won't let anyone mess with his family. He leaps across the rooftops like a superhero. Finally, he arrives at the agreed bar. He enters the place to find his sister in despair. He throws the bag onto the table while the gangster watches. He says everything is there to let his sister go, but the woman says he is more handsome than in the photos. She wants to know his age, but the young man says it doesn't matter. She gets a little irritated by this, but she decides to focus on that bag. Opening it, she finds way too much money inside. The girl is shocked, wondering how that money is there. Our hero can't believe her surprise, but she says she didn't know there was money there and that she was just ordered to keep the bag. But the woman tells her to shut up and doesn't think it was her, saying it was someone else. She ordered them to let them go before she changes her mind. The girl thanks her little brother very much, but the woman interrupts, saying she didn't say her brother could go. Xu Qiao thinks she knew it wouldn't be easy. She said her brother is handsome and young, and that he will stay. Taking the lead, the girl says they won't touch her brother. She tells them not to involve her brother in this business. The gangster laughs and says if he goes, she will have to stay. She says she is free to go or will have to work hard, and not to blame her later. Taking the lead, the girl says she will stay. She tells him to go home first because this is not a safe place for a man. But the young man questions if she thinks he has no morals. Then he takes the lead, asking if she is sure she wants him there. The two stare at each other for a few seconds. With a crazy look, she says she will throw him on the bed and torture him in every possible way. But she takes a punch without even seeing where it came from. Then she steps back from the young man, and he finds it interesting that the women in this world are strong. She orders her henchman to grab him, and smiling, our hero tells him to try. He jumps from there to a very high point. People start running and screaming as he turns into a kind of bizarre hurricane. Wiping his hands, he says it's over for him to leave. They turn to leave, and the woman says that if they don't stop, she will shoot. The girl begs Zhou to forgive her brother. Very irritated, she says she will take care of both of them right there, and our hero steps forward again, questioning if that's what she wants. When another elegant person appears, saying that this is interesting, she wants to know why she wasn't invited to that. The woman is quite excited to see our hero, but he doesn't seem to enjoy running into her again. He asks why she is there, and she tells him that this place belongs to her. She dismisses the gangster, saying she will handle them, but the woman gets angry, asking if she is going to break the rules. Changing her tone, she questions about breaking the rules. She orders her security to grab her and dismember her before throwing her out into the streets. The gangster falls to the ground, desperate and trembling. She begs for forgiveness from the woman. Then she corrects herself, saying to only cut one of each. Laughing, she says that this is a little gift for him and asks if he likes it. And our hero wants to know why she is being kind. She says he is the only man who dared to speak to her this way and that he is different. So it is decided that he will be her boyfriend number 36. Our hero does not want to be boyfriend number 36 and says he is not interested in her. She says that a small man like him could be a man for the job, but he scoffs, questioning if she is comparing their strength. And his sister panics, asking if he is crazy to make that comparison. Still smiling, she questions if he is not being arrogant. Then they suggest playing a game, and if he wins, she will not bother him anymore. She questions if he forgets that he is a man, and if he really wants to challenge her. Chu King mocks, asking if she is scared. She laughs, saying she is senshi, and that there is nothing she cannot do. And her condition is that if she wins, he will be her boyfriend. Then our hero agrees. The two sit at a table on a stage. Several women watch and are incredulous at this challenge. Chu King thinks that in this world, they see men as insignificant and are truly strong. She says they told her to understand the vast difference between a man and a woman. Prepared, someone commands them to start. She seems to exert no effort at all. She realizes that the women in this world are truly extraordinary and very strong. But he is not just any guy, and this surprises the woman. Then in the next moment, he wins the arm wrestling match. She seems unable to believe what she is seeing. Standing up, he says he won and tells her not to forget the bet. The people around then believe what they are seeing as he takes his sister to leave. Yi Chengxi intimidates the others from where she is. One of the security guards approaches and says he will hunt him down. The woman slaps the other, telling her to shut up because she hasn't lost him yet. She stands up and makes a proposal, saying that outside of him, her husband, no one else will disturb him. But he gets irritated and questions who said he needs to stick to a woman. A girl at the bar asks if he is thinking straight. She tells him that women have always been the pillar of society and have owned men, and that even a child knows this. A girl questions if he thinks he is special, and if he has ever seen a male hero in literature. He goes to the woman and questions what her point is, and that all he sees is men working hard to become better. Resting on the legs of a beautiful woman and working to be rewarded is what men do. As they leave, the owner of the place watches. One of the security guards approaches her, and even more excited, she says he is her type and she won't let him go. But the guard reminds her that they need to leave now. She says she only went out for 2 days and why should she have to go back now, asking him to stop calling her that since her sister is still alive. On the way home, the girl asks him not to tell their parents, but he says he will tell them and asks what she would do if he weren't there. Desperate, she questions if he is threatening her for what happened. She wants to know how he got so strong and why he doesn't marry the woman who is the heir of an important family, because if he gets married, she will benefit from it. Looking like the devil, he says that if she keeps talking like that, he will send her back to the bar. Then the rest of the night seems calm. Our hero thinks he wants to regain his strength quickly because he is still weak. Meanwhile, his sister asks someone to hurry and take off the clothes. It's hard for Chu Xing to concentrate while his sister talks about how big the thing is. He thinks she is very different from his sister in the original world. The next day at school, he walks along until someone comes running calling him. The slightly chubby guy comes running, and he questions if it is his best friend Lin Dong. He is worried, asking why our MC didn't answer the calls. But he doesn't wait and tries to sneak away, feeling a bit embarrassed. The worried guy says he saw that he was having problems, and he makes an excuse saying he was fine to get out of there. He thinks that guy is not his friend. Sometime later, already in the classroom, he feels exhausted, thinking he can't continue in that world, until suddenly someone pokes him. The class president, named Songsha Oran, asks if he is okay. Making an excuse, he says he hasn't eaten anything yet and is starving. Then she says they can eat together, and that he has to do his best because exams are coming. Someone questions if she wants to have problems, and how dare she talk to him like that. Another much larger woman appears. She hugs our hero, asking if he saw her love letter. But that woman is hit by something and flies away. In the middle of the classroom stands our angry hero. Irritated, she questions who he thinks he is since he is just a man, and she lunges at him to throw a punch. But someone suddenly tells her to stop, and she questions what Yimao is doing there. He tells her to get lost before he gets tired of her. She says she will only leave because Yi Chengxi is her sister. The boy says it's something they need to talk about and asks if he has a minute. Sometime later, they are on a balcony at school. He apologizes for what happened the day before regarding his sister. The day before, he was with a guy, and his sister was going to take him home. Along the way, she offered a bottle, and said that she had nothing else, but if he was thirsty, he could drink that. Our hero drank, and the rest of the story we already know. Feeling awkward, he says that if he had known she was planning that, he wouldn't have asked her for a ride. He tells her not to blame herself and that they should go inside. Some time later, he leaves the school, and he notices a car stopping beside him. It's Yi Chengxi again. She tells him to get in the car. Not believing she is stalking him, he questions why she would do that. She tells him he should think about his family's interests. The young woman tells the handsome guy that this is how she likes it. He says the other one made a serious mistake by getting involved with his family, and if he wasn't referring to a threat. The smiling woman questions. While leaning against a floating stone, Shu-Tsing responds that she shouldn't have mentioned that before. That strange object splits into several pieces. Startled, the girl didn't expect that. Approaching her, the MC explains that she must understand the consequences of her boldness. The young woman says she can help his mother and sister and that she knows the company is having problems. Mockingly, our boy asks if she feels sorry for him. "I'll come after you, so I suggest we start as friends and I can take care of your parents' business problems," says Yi Chengxi. Relaxing, the boy says they can start as friends. Since the girl has shown her intention, he hopes she won't bother him again. Then he asks her to speed up the car, and the girl looks thoughtful. For a while, they don't speak to each other, but she will ask about something. Yi Chengxi asks if the other practices ancient martial arts. The boy answers negatively to the question. Still, the young woman knows he lied about his strength because it is a secret. He becomes thoughtful upon hearing that. Suddenly, a truck approaches at high speed. Even shouting to be careful, the two vehicles collide. The force is so great that the car flies, coming to a stop sideways on the road. Hurt, the girl asks if her companion is okay. While observing her surrounded by a strange power, she realizes the situation is bad. She notices that Shu-Tsing is also injured. The boy grabs her by the waist. Then he delivers a powerful blow, causing the door to be smashed. "We have to get out of here," he says urgently. Seeing that he has an iron on his back, the young woman says they need to go to a hospital. However, our boy disagrees and asks her if this is over. A group of troublemakers approaches looking for trouble. Irritated, Yi Chengxi asks if they dare to hurt her man. Well, the group is quite determined to attack. The young woman attacks one by one. One of the people thinks it's a great idea to face the boy alone. "I was underestimated again," thinks Chu-Tsing. Then he landed a punch on his opponent. She fell to the ground defeated. The girl is still having a lot of trouble with the group. Our hero picks up the fallen weapon, charging at the troublemakers. One of his strikes hits them. The enemies begin to panic with that fight. Yi Chengxi prepares a strike, and with the palm of her hand she hits two people. Finally, that fight is concluded. "What she did was brilliant," says the girl. While tossing the weapon to her, Chu-Tsing asks her to take care of the rest. The young woman says, "Someone will take care of this. If I weren't here, it would have gone badly, and you shouldn't be a preparatory student." Now they can no longer eat together, and since it's late, the boy will leave. Suddenly, the phone rings. Stepping away to answer, the girl asks what happened, letting out a loud scream out of nowhere. Our hero wonders what that was about, but he knows he shouldn't get involved. When he turns to leave, the young woman grabs his arm and asks him not to go. Crying, she tells him that her mother was seriously injured and is at home right now. Mother and daughter were attacked at the same time, and the underworld of Jimin will change because of this. She tells him that if her mother dies, her aunt will kick her out of the family, and our hero tells her not to cry because he will go with her, saying that she must be strong and that he will help her as much as he can. The girl wonders why she is trusting his words. Then she throws herself into his arms and hugs him tightly. Some time later at the Yi family mansion, the duo arrives at the location. A woman says that she finally arrived. Then Yi asks how things are going there. That person says she doesn't have permission to enter, and that Mrs. Yi Mai said only she could enter there. The girl becomes furious while the MC asks who she is. She says she is his aunt who is always conspiring, but since they have no proof, they can't do anything. Then she enters and asks the boy to follow her. The security says the boy cannot enter. Angrily, she questions how she dares to disobey her order. And Chu-Tsing says he is the doctor who came to check on the lady, and he remembers that luckily he studied medicine in his old world. The security guards mockingly question if a man can be a doctor. Then out of nowhere, he talks about two problems that those two women have, and they are shocked. He says that's why they take a bunch of pills. The security finally allows him to pass. When a woman receives the girl, her aunt said that luckily she arrived in time, otherwise she wouldn't know what would happen. Filled with rage, she questions where her mother is, but the woman mocks her, questioning where her respect and sense of hierarchy are, and wants to know why she brought a stranger to the family home. He says he is a doctor and that they should let them in. Again, and she ironically says she thought he was someone she had brought home these days. Then the aunt said that to enter, he must demonstrate some skills. She orders Ymir to check if the guy has skills or not, and her daughter agrees. The woman glares at the duo, She is planning for her niece to enter the fight and break the family rules. Then the girl wants him to promise something if she wins. Smiling, he wants to know what it is. She said he must promise to spend the night with her. He says that is absurd, but our hero holds the girl's arm and tells her that it's okay. They should start. Out of nowhere, the girl suddenly delivers a surprise kick, but our hero easily defends it, counterattacking with a precise strike. The woman flies away, much to her aunt's surprise, and the boy asks if she still wants to spend the night with him. Her aunt said she is not an animal and cannot believe he is her type. He tells her to take her to the hospital because he cannot be sure she doesn't have internal injuries. She stays with her daughter on the lawn, cursing him. Already inside the house, the girl finds another aunt, and the woman hugs her, very happy to see her. He discovers that his mother is fine but very injured and under observation. The boy says that in this situation, they can't waste a minute and need to check. His aunt questions who that young man is. He smiles and says that she should trust him. Then he says that he is a doctor and also her friend. The girl runs to her mother, who is in bed, asking if she is okay. The woman questions who that young man is. Our hero says that he is a doctor and asks her to show her injuries. She laughs a little and says she doesn't believe he can help her and asks for a minute to talk to her daughter. Then the other woman shows the way. She asks to let him check her, saying he is a wonderful person and that if it weren't for him, she would be in danger. The woman is surprised, as it is the first time she has praised a man. He says that she was hit with negative energy in her back and needs opposing energy to resolve it. The matriarch is surprised and asks to speak with him alone. He tries to protest as her aunt drags her out. The door slams, leaving just the two of them inside. She questions if the Lee family sent him and what his intentions are with Chengxi. Our MC apologizes and says he is not from the Lee family. He suggests that she ask her daughter about her interest in him, adding that he saved her. The woman says she believes him and agrees to show her injury, but warns him that he will pay the price if he harms the girl while she takes off her clothes. To the boy's despair, he panics because, despite being the smallest, he is still a man. Gathering courage, he takes a peek, and she is sitting with her back to him, with that dark mark there. He says it is worse than he thought and that she can hold on for at most 5 more days. All she wants to know is if he can do something about it. Then he places his hands on her back and says he will try. He activates that power while she feels something. He begins to withdraw his hand and absorb it. The woman seems to feel something a little different. Then they focus, channeling that energy. He says it is all he can do for now and that he doesn't know what would happen if he removed everything at once. The matriarch says it doesn't matter how he did it, but that she feels much better, and questions how she could thank him. But he says that Chengxi is a great friend, and it is normal to help her. With a little laugh, she says that of course, they are just friends. Now another woman says he is wonderful and that she didn't expect him to succeed. Then she jumps on him and hugs him. She asks him not to leave tonight because she wants to reward him. But the boy says that if his parents find out he spent the night with a girl, they will freak out. She is happy that he is a good boy and that he should try to avoid temptations. Our hero observes that dark energy in his hand and knows that it is like a curse and that he doesn't have the level to resolve it, knowing that in his old world he could use an elixir. He closes his hand and makes it disappear at that moment. The next day at school, he hears some excited people. The boys shout that Tang is going to make it. A girl with pink hair runs by and jumps, making a basket in the basketball game. She falls to the ground and wipes the sweat off. Our hero wonders if it is really her, recognizing his first love. Everyone around is smitten with the girl, and they say the woman is wonderful and that their hearts are melting. But he realizes that this world is different and that they shouldn't know each other, so he won't bother her, when suddenly someone asks him to wait a minute. That girl questions if she has seen him before. Smiling, he says that they are in the same school, so probably yes, but she says she is not referring to that, and realizes that, like in other worlds, she is always curious about him. Then spinning that ball, she says she doesn't care, asking if he wants to play basketball and says she will teach him. Our boy smiles satisfied. Then he easily takes the ball from the woman's hands. Spinning it like a professional, he says to let's play. She makes a bet that he will become her boyfriend. It seems that everyone around just wants that. Then Chu Qing asks what he will get if he wins. She says that in that case, she will do everything he wants. The girls stop to watch her playing with that boy, called a genius. Then she runs towards him at speed and fakes him out, shooting the ball afterward. It seems that the girl is in front then, and our hero didn't even see what happened. People celebrate saying that she is better and that she will get a boyfriend. Just laughing, the girl explains that she won't play lightly because she wants to win. Leading gently, he tells her to try again. Then the girl runs and bumps into him, and a jump puts her face to face with the basket. But our hero appears and blocks her attack. The ball bounces and goes far away. The people around wonder how a man can jump so high, and the women are enjoying it. He says that now it's his turn, and the woman seems focused. Then he runs towards her and makes a huge leap, easily reaching the basket and scoring a point. The girl is quite upset because she lost. Then she asks him what he wants her to do. Then he approaches the girl, and touching her cheek, he asks what she thinks about going out with him. The people around seem to melt, and the girl also seems to have liked that. But she says that if he wants a date with her, he must be strong. She walks away, leaving the boy looking foolish. He wonders when she became so proud. Some time later, he is taking care of his friend's mother again. You notice that he made 30% progress with his aura while taking care of her. Some time later, the girl questions what kind of reward he wants for saving her and her mother. He is astonished by this reaction, thinking of a little idea he would like. She asks why she is smiling like that and what he wants, but he thinks it's better to think first. While walking, he thinks that he will soon finish healing the woman and complete the awakening of his spiritual body, when suddenly a car stops beside him and someone gets out. A very stylish man appears. He questions whether the boy is Chu Qing and if he is going after Tang Xian. The man asks if he thinks he is cute and if he has heard the name Li Wei, saying that it is him. Our MC thinks the guy is just an idiot. The guy throws a fit, telling him not to ignore him when he is talking. But our hero easily grabs his wrist, immobilizing him on the ground without difficulty. The guy screams for help from his bodyguards, but Chu Qing supports his head to gain momentum and takes care of the bodyguards easily as well. He pushes the guy's head into the ground, saying that if he wants something from him, he should bring more people next time. The boy screams that the Li family will not let him go unpunished, saying that the girl will marry him. Our MC says that he is screaming too much and that today he is annoying. He thinks that even if Tang's family had problems, how could they arrange a marriage like that? He remembers the girl asking what he wants, and it seems that he now has an idea. He sends a message saying that he needs a private investigation. Looking at his phone, he wonders why she gave him the money, but he realizes that he can use the money to investigate and buy information since he is in trouble. He asks on the phone if he is speaking with Hua and that he needs something. My woman who answers on the other side questions what he wants, saying that she is not cheap. Sometime later, our hero is in a bar, wondering if he could trust that woman who asked for nothing, when suddenly someone approaches calling for him. That is Chen Huahua, and the girl gives a little wave to the guy. She asks if he wants information, and a bit incredulous, our hero questions if she is the girl, thinking she is a loli. The woman confirms that it is her and asks what relationship he has with Yi Chengxi, suggesting that if they are not dating, he should date her. The guy is quite taken aback. Our hero chokes on his drink and says he wants to buy information about the Tang family Xian. The girl gets tense and asks if that girl from basketball was his girlfriend, but he says no. Chun Qing becomes a bit worried that she knows so much about him. Then smiling, the girl says she can go after him. Impatient, our hero says he will look for another informant, and the girl says she can't even joke. Then she explains that the Tang family is a large commercial family owning many companies in the city, but it seems they are not doing well financially. So the family proposed marriage for them, and this marriage could solve that family's problems. He is surprised and thinks that in his past life, the girl didn't have so many secrets, or perhaps didn't want to put pressure on him. The girl questions if that's all he wants to know, but he wants to know if there is any family that understands alchemy in this world. Then the girl says that the Tang family is alchemist and specializes in elixirs. What a good coincidence. Chu Qing is shocked to learn that there are alchemists in this world. Interested, he asks for more information about it. Then she says she can manage, but it depends on what he will offer. He must be sweet-talking her. He feels embarrassed and asks her to stop with that, and the girl laughs and says it's fine. She says there are two types of alchemy, and one of them is the common one from the Tang family. The second is a mysterious spiritual power that she doesn't quite understand. Shocked, he realizes that there are people in this world just like him. She said it will cost 100,000, but since he is handsome, she gives a 20% discount. Our guy wants to know if she has information about confidential transactions and medicinal ingredients, and she said that if he has dinner with her, she will tell him. Sometimes it's worth being a handsome guy. Sometime later, they are looking for a place to eat. A cheerful boy appears asking what she will eat today. The girl wants 20 pork skewers and 4 beers ready to go, and our guy is a bit startled, wondering where all that is going. But he notices that right behind them is a group of women drinking and filling their bellies. And for a moment he had forgotten that this crazy world is the opposite of his. Time passes and the girl seems to be more than satisfied. Suddenly she starts crying, saying that the boy she likes rejects her because he thinks she is poor. And she confesses that she has a small house and likes to play video games. With a sweet look, she asks if he likes her. Some time later, our guy is taking them upstairs, telling them not to drink too much if they can't handle it. He even reaches the girl's house, which looks a bit messy. The guy finds a bit tense that she can't take care of her house, so he lays her down there sleeping. But suddenly, the girl grabs him and jumps on him with a strange look. The young man is taken aback. She asks him to stay with her, and he agrees. Then she gives a little laugh and seems quite satisfied. But it seems her battery is running low, and she lies on top of him to sleep. After a while, our guy manages to get out of there and checks his phone, and sees that the Tang family is going through tough times. He sees a news article about the auction house that belongs to the family. He knows that you can't live without money anywhere, but he knows something that is worth a lot in this world. Sometime later, our hero is meditating on the terrace. He thinks that in the world of immortals, there is the spiritual stone that helps with evolution. The stone can be obtained by cultivating eternity, absorbing the aura of heaven and earth. But in this world, they don't exist, so he will sell it. He knows he can make some money by making them. Sometime later, he meets his friend's mother. She seems quite cheerful, feeling young again, and she realizes that her strength is back, saying she will get back at the harpy. She thanks Chu Qing and says that if there are any problems, just let her know. Our hero is pleased with this. He finished recovering the woman and managed to free her spiritual body. Now he just needs to improve that. But suddenly someone calls for him, asking him to wait. Yi Chengxi comes running and jumps on our hero, catching him off guard and giving him a big kiss. She thanks him for healing her mother and says it's a small gift. A security guard says they are calling her for a meeting. She runs off saying she can't right now, but will give the full gift later. Oh my. He feels awkward but thinks that was nice. Sometime later, he is meditating again, and with a bit of effort, he achieves something more. He thinks that when he entered the temporal corridor, he couldn't leave behind this sword. That weapon has been with him for 100 years and seems limitless. Using a lot of energy, he bids farewell to his weak body. Things are about to get crazy, and he is happy that his spiritual body has finally revived. His sister opens the door, asking what kind of mess this is, and he quickly tries to hide what is happening. Then he stands up, hiding the sword. However, he is without clothes and a bit nervous. She quickly closes the door and apologizes for interrupting him. The guy feels embarrassed by the misunderstanding, but he starts to get ready and puts that sword on a pendant. You go to the auction house to see how much that stone is worth. He walks through the bustling city until he reaches the location. While a person looks at their phone complaining, that person says it's closed and to come back the next day. But he shows that shining stone. Not impressed, the guy says it's a yellow stone but suddenly stops. Suddenly, it seems he realizes something and quickly stands up. Leaving the counter, he asks to see the stone that our hero hands over. The young man is impressed to sense the stone's aura, thinking it's a rare treasure. All interested, he introduces himself as Jia Yu, heir to the auction house. Our MC shakes his hand, introducing himself. Curious, he asks what this is called and how many he has, saying he has 5 and that it's a spiritual stone. He then offers $1 million for the 5 stones. Chu Qing is satisfied as it's more than he expected and thinks he can make good money. Chen says he's going to a bar and invites him. But while walking happily, he seems to notice something strange. A person appears beside him and, armed, tries to hurt the young man. He activates his special sword. Then he easily protects himself from that attack using his weapon. There's even a ninja now in this mess, and he asks what power that is. But our hero moves faster than he can see. In the next moment, he pierces him with his weapon. He returns to that person who is defeated on the ground and questions who sent him. He says it was Lai Yue, but lied, saying he was weak and begs for his life. The young man looks at him without showing emotion and says that his employer will come to collect his body later, determined to deal with the family there afterward. But suddenly he feels something strange in his body. He feels his body heating up and can't control it properly. He drags himself along the walls as best as he can. He can't understand how he ended up there. Things are a bit out of control. Chen opens the door, excited to see him. He looks at her, unable to control himself. Then he grabs the girl and hugs her. The girl doesn't understand anything and asks what's wrong with him. Suddenly he kisses her. They stay there doing that for a while. He apologizes while thinking that he has killed other people in his previous world, but this has never happened. However, the girl hugs him tightly and says he doesn't need to apologize and not to hold back. Then the rest of the things happen that night. Definitely, this guy plays on easy mode. Sometime later, our hero is lying with her. He thinks he doesn't want to get involved in this world, but some things slip out of his control. So he has no choice but to conquer this world. How much time later, he is devastated at school, and Tang Zion appears looking for him. He notices her approaching him. Then he invites her to have lunch with him. Not understanding anything, he asks how the women in this world are so bold. But she stands there observing for a second. She is sure she is sniffing out another girl. It seems our hero has been caught red-handed, but the girl gives up and asks where he wants to eat. Awkwardly, he stands up saying he's leaving, but he feels more at ease that she has dropped the subject because there's no shortage of female attention, right? Boys comment that this is a dream and that it's the video of what happened on the basketball court. He questions why she thought to invite him to eat all of a sudden, and the girl says she just wanted to eat with him. She wants to know if she can hug him, but he finds it strange that she isn't shy saying that. So he holds her hands, and that makes her a little blush. Our hero smiles, also shy, until he pinches her cheek, and she pulls away, questioning how he dares to do that. The The girl seems to be feeling something for him and is surprised by it, and that it was after the basketball court that she felt like he was the most important person to her. Turning red, she wonders why she has this strange thought. Sometime later, they arrive at a restaurant and order food. She is surprised that he knows what she likes to eat and thinks he might have investigated her. Our hero questions why she is blushing, and the girl feels shy again. While they are there, two girls approach, and he notices that they are armed, when suddenly they announce that the order for table 3 is ready, and Chu Qing stands up to get the food. At that moment, the two women look at each other and grab their weapons. One of them approaches Rang Xian to attack her. Suddenly, a plate of pasta flies through the air and hits the woman squarely on the head. She screams with her face burning, while the other one takes responsibility and attacks. In the next moment, our hero is protecting the girl but gets injured. She stands up desperately calling for him, but he uses his power and isolates the girl away. The girl falls like a sack of potatoes to the ground. Tang Xian tells him to run, saying that it's her they want. But our hero says she will be alone, and he won't do that at all while attacking the other woman. She counters while he easily dodges, retaliating with a powerful punch that sends her flying. From behind, the other woman is already attacking him and hits our hero squarely, but he laughs with an evil look because the attack was nothing. And in the next moment, the woman is slammed against the wall as well. It seems the restaurant has turned into a huge mess. Tang Xian questions if he is from any ancient martial arts family. He says it's hard to explain, but that he is just an ordinary person. But he tells her that she needs to get out of there because it's dangerous and that he will tell her later. Sometime later, she helps him with his injury. She is worried about it and wants to take him to a hospital, but he smiles and says he can heal it himself. He thinks the assassins were mediocre but still managed to injure him and that he needs to be more careful. Tang Xian says that since he investigated her family, she wants to know if Lai Yue hit him or if he is in danger. But he says there's no chance of that happening and that he can handle himself. And the girl turns red again at this. She awkwardly wants to know why he saved her. Awkwardly, our hero says he doesn't know, as he can't say it was because she was his girlfriend in another life. So he says he feels like he has known her for a long time and would give his life for her. The girl turns red and is impressed. He says that as long as she trusts him, he will help her. He tells her that it seems other families have joined forces to mess with them and stole a pharmaceutical formula from his family. After investigations, they discovered that the family there was behind it, and our hero thinks that this family is getting involved with several others. He questions if she believes he can solve her family's problems. Not understanding, she asks how he would do that. Our guy says it's simple as long as they can create another refining formula, but she says it's difficult and that they took more than 20 years to develop some. Then Chu Qing says not to worry and that they will talk about it later. He mentions that there will be an auction in 2 days and then they will discuss it better. Suddenly, it seems he feels something strange, and the girl worries, wanting to help. He thinks he marked Yi Chengxi with Riki, questioning how it could have been erased suddenly. He says he needs to do something urgent and that he won't be able to return to school. He then asks Huagua to track Yi Chengxi's phone because something happened to her. The girl promptly starts doing that. Then she calls Zai from her cell phone. The guy asks if there's something good for him, but actually he wanted to ask for help and a car. The young man questions where he is to pick him up. Then he apologizes to the people and says that the auction house will be closed today for urgent reasons. Sometime later, he has already picked up our hero by car. The girl says that Yi Chengxi's location has changed. Then Chu Qing says they need to go to that location, and the excited guy tells him to hold on and speeds off through the city streets. Our hero is tense with this situation and uses his powers to see the girl inside that car. Excited, he says it's that car and that they need to stop it. His friend seems to have understood the message and springs into action. He slams into that van, knocking it off the road. Soon after, our hero gets out of the car to see the damage and immediately advances on the men with a gun in hand. Those guys order to shoot him quickly. They fire several times at Chu Qing, but with quick sequential movements, he takes down the guys. In the next moment, they are all defeated on the ground. Then he can finally open the car doors, but upon opening the door, he is thrown back by an explosion. He stands ready, not understanding what is happening, until two people appear. He realizes that the stability is not just any, and that there are people practicing ancient martial arts like him. That man says he is young and has skills, asking if he wants to join his Quanjin cult. Our boy mocks, questioning why the cult has two failures like them. Another guy tells his brother not to waste time with him and to just kill him for the insult. He says they should go back to the mountain they came from to train for a few more years. The guy seems to be falling for the bait just right. He uses his power to summon a weapon. He points the weapon at our hero, questioning how he dares to insult his brother and him. But our hero, alert, manages to block the attack. With the impact, the man flies far away. He realizes that his fire staff has been damaged, becoming even more irritated. Then Chu Qing asks what he thinks about destroying that weapon. In the next moment, his staff is broken on the ground. The guy becomes furious, telling him to go to hell while attacking with his flaming fist. But it seems our boy fared better in this charge. The man seems to realize only afterward that his arm is on the ground. He is in shock, talking about his hand. Another guy jumps into action, questioning how he dares to hurt his brother. Then he starts to manifest his power as well, using an attack that causes a huge explosion. But in the next moment, it seems someone lifted his brother off the ground, and our hero holds him by the neck without any mercy. His brother screams a loud no while he looks on with a wicked gaze, and he orders them not to come down from their mountains to kidnap a girl. The guy goes into a rage, saying he will die today, and he attacks again with a purple energy. In the next moment, someone appears behind him, hitting him squarely with an attack. Looking back, he questions how this is possible, and falling to the ground, he says that his master will avenge him today. In the midst of the destruction, the young man observes the open van. Inside, there is an unconscious girl. He touches her face and tries to wake her up. The girl awakens and shoots a piercing glance at the other. These men are very strong, and she cannot defeat them, says the young woman, urging him to flee. Chu Qing hugs her while explaining that she doesn't need to worry, as everything is fine. Finally, the girl sees the destruction, and now calmer, she returns the hug. Our hero asks who is behind all this. The Lee family and the girl's family started a war, so while fighting among themselves, this family pursues the masters and forces them to retreat. Thoughtful, the MC is not surprised that this group is moving. These masters are powerful and come from an ancient martial arts family, as they have not varied their breathing. Chu Qing wonders if, on the other hand, with the current situation of the family, the young woman is not being overly optimistic. Irritated, the girl defends herself, saying it's not just that group, otherwise others would cause problems among themselves. The boy asks if it has to do with the Shijin auction, as some rare treasures will be auctioned there. It's possible that the Lee family received information about the auction and attacked other families, so they wouldn't get information and prepare. Now happy, the young woman says that the other is her lucky star. She asks him to return with her to explain to the others in the family about the news, and that her mother wants to thank him. The boy places his hand on her head, claiming that he will keep her company. Later that night, they arrive at the residence. They are greeted by a group of women. The newcomers observe the three. One of them kindly asks Chu Qing to sit down. However, another disagrees, asking her to wait. Sister, the first one shouts, judging her behavior. It is inappropriate for strangers to participate in the family's secret meetings, the girl declares. Not to mention that he is a man, she adds. Our hero reacts passively to that impediment. He says that the women can rest assured, as he is not there to participate. He reinforces that he did not come to stay for the meeting. The young man was careless, and now it will be impossible to marry Chengxi. As he extends a stone towards them, he says he came to talk about cooperation. As soon as he asks the group to look, one of the women already grabs the stone. Initially evaluating it, she says it is not just any object. They hear that it is a spiritual stone. When the first woman holds the object, the boy asks her to feel the internal strength through her body. An intense glow fills her, causing an even more intense power to radiate from her body. The people in the room are shocked and confused. She becomes very interested and wants to buy all the stones the boy has, but he does not yield and says that these stones cannot be sold like that. The other woman becomes quite irritated by this. He says they will be auctioned in 2 days and that they will still give her a discount for being Yi Chengxi's mother. But the reason he is there is to offer other things like amulets and elixirs. They are surprised because these are things that can increase effectiveness in combat. Chu Qing says it grants a 30% increase. His friend's mother wants to know how much it costs and how long it takes to be ready. He says he will give the price of the elixir when the batch is out, but the protection amulet for the family is something she should set the price for. The woman is left with a nagging feeling. He says it's because she is his friend. The girl is happy about that. Later, the duo is in the garden. She confesses that at first, she just wanted to take advantage of him a little, and our hero thinks that life in that world is worth it and still intends to build his empire. After a while, he finally arrives home, and it seems there is a somewhat unfriendly woman visiting. Smiling, she says she is his aunt. He greets her but thinks he has never seen anyone fatter. Then out of nowhere, she drops the bomb that she is about to marry him off. He freezes in place because he is only 17 years old and certainly does not want that. He tries to dodge this and says he still has to go to college, but the woman says that is money wasted, that men shouldn't go to college. He finds this world where women step on men to be a drag. His aunt then wants to know about his sister, but So Ching-anon says the girl is idle, and our hero thinks she must be drooling in bed. The woman says she sees that their educational methods are not the same as her mother's, and the father leaves, saying he is going to make tea. Chu Qing notices that her father is leaving somewhat upset. She gets angry and wants to kick the woman out. The annoying aunt criticizes her for marrying that man instead of one from a better family. And suddenly, An explosion of energy almost gives the woman a heart attack. Our hero is there, filled with rage, and disguising it, he says there was an insect on the table. Then the woman says she will wait for the answer because if not, there will be consequences. The woman tells him to enjoy his last year because soon he will be married, but he provokes the woman. She says that his family will arrange a marriage with a rich woman for him. Chu Qing says she won't sell herself easily to just anyone. Then she questions her, since she has money, how much would she pay for a leg? Startled, she tells her sister to take the boy to the hospital because he is crazy. He looks over his shoulder and leaves that place. Arriving in his room, he can barely contain his anger, and he calls his friend Chengxi because he needs to tell her something. After a while, his aunt is there, acting crazy and enjoying the night, and she is being stealthily watched by someone. 3 unfriendly women question if it's just one leg to cut, but Yi Chengxi asks them to wait a little. It seems the barbecue will be good because she wants another piece. After a while, our hero is there making his money, and despite working, he is worried about all the problems that have been happening. Sitting on the bed, he pulls out a utility knife to help with the work. He continues manipulating all his power, while thinking that he is managing to make some cool things with the jade and the material he got from Jia Yu. Later they go to dinner, but it feels like a wake. His father says he needs to work hard and study, and this catches him a bit off guard. As a good son, he says not to worry, that he will always be there to help. But his father tells him not to overexert himself and that his health is more important. Then he remembers that he made something for them, and he places those gifts on the table. They look at them a bit confused, and it seems that the thing is truly magical, making them feel good just by touching it. His father wants to know where he got that from. Giving a slight disguise, he says he brought it from the past, so it must have some effect. After a while, our hero is at school, and he is exhausted because he spent the night making magical artifacts. The class president tries to help him so he doesn't fall asleep, but the teacher walks in right at that moment, and the girl almost has a fit. The woman shouts for Chu Qing to wake him up or suddenly kill him for good. And jokingly, the boy says that since he looks well rested, he should go to the board to do the exercise. He gets up, thinking about how he will do that since he hasn't seen anything. But he remembers the girl teaching him, and it seems the same. So he starts to solve the problems. Happy, he tells the teacher that it was a piece of cake. People think he did really well even while sleeping. Then, annoyed, she says he can't sleep just because he knows the material. He doesn't quite understand why they were such lousy students and she's still hiring well. So he suggests that he be the class representative. Of course, it's to put himself on the line. He tries to argue, but the woman gets angry. To an outsider, it seems like he has already given up on life, but in reality, he is thinking about the charms he promised his family. He thinks they are charms that protect against fatal attacks and is considering buying about 30,000 of them. But suddenly, his friend appears like a ghost, telling him not to sleep and that they should eat. Because of this, it seems like the experiment almost went wrong. His friend asks how he can play with fire in the middle of school. He thinks it's not bad and that it's just a little different, but things are a bit messed up. He hands this thing to the boy and says it's a protection charm and not to tell the others. All excited, he says he is the best friend in the world and wants to give him something too. The scene is a bit suspicious. Then he pulls out a soda bottle, and our hero stands there, staring in disbelief. He gets irritated, questioning if it's a bottle of Coca-Cola that's already been drunk, but the boy says there's something more. Not believing it, he asks what it could be. He says there's going to be a sports festival and asks if he wants to participate since he won against Tang Zian. But our hero isn't interested. But a little friend with broad shoulders says they will force him. Plus, it would be good to create nice memories. Chu Qing thinks it makes sense, and that back home he didn't participate in these things. So he ends up accepting, and the boy celebrates happily, saying he can eat now. Our hero questions if he is betting on this, and the embarrassed boy says no. Suddenly, a very pretty girl appears, and people comment if it isn't Lin Wan, the school star who plays piano and sings. She waves to our hero and says it has been a while since they last saw each other. Smiling, he says that's true, and the girl says she liked that he became a celebrity by beating the girl in basketball. But since he is very humble, he says it was just luck. She says there will be a meeting for the elementary school and asks if he knows who organizes everything. Then he promptly replies that it's Zhu Bukun, and the girl seems to not believe it. But our hero says the guy likes to show off and couldn't be anyone else. Then she gets all cute and says it will be boring if Chu Qing doesn't go. He asks when it will happen, and now she says she will call him at night. She gives his cheek a little squeeze. It seems that, as usual, it's another girl flirting with our handsome guy. They watch the girl walk away. Chu Qing asks since when that girl decided to tease him. My friend, not believing it, wants to know how he does that, and the boy says it was a classmate in elementary school. Very irritated, he says that girl is his goddess and that he needs help to get her autograph. Finding that incredible, he asks why the boy didn't ask for it. Then he replies that he doesn't dare to, if he could spend a day with her. he would die happy. Not paying attention to his friend's exaggerations, he says he has commitments. Then he continues on his way through the school. He reaches Tang Xian, who is there calmly doing her work. The girl is surprised to see him there. She feels shy because she can't solve the problem. Chu Qing says he can help her. Luckily, it's the same one he solved earlier. He stays there helping her and seems to be doing well. Surprised and embarrassed, she says his method is easy to understand, and he turns around saying he thinks it's not the right time for that. But he asks her to follow him because he wants to tell her something. They go outside alone. Then he hands her something to keep her safe. Tang Xingyan realizes that it's not easy to get something like that, and she says she can't accept something so expensive. But he insists, saying its purpose is to protect her. The girl feels flattered by that. Taking it in her hands, she thanks the boy. Noticing that she's doing well now in class, she decides to do about 30 more before going home. At the end of the afternoon, the school mission is accomplished. It seems like he opened a factory by the looks of it. He intends to go to Yi Chengxi to see how much his family will pay for this. But suddenly someone grabs your shoulder, and it's your dear friend, to say the least, calling you out for a night out. Chu Qing becomes curious and asks where and why. The young man says it's a beautiful and exciting place. But our hero declines and says he will be busy. When night falls to see the girl, she throws herself into his arms, and it seems she was anxiously waiting for him to arrive. But suddenly she seems to notice something suspicious. She asks if he is seeing someone else, as she can smell another woman's perfume around, and our 7-1 gives the girl a vague answer. He gives the girl a charm and says she doesn't need to pay for it. She looks confused as he steps away, and out of nowhere he throws the cup at the girl. He seems a bit crazy, doesn't he? She looks at that somewhat startled, and her charm comes into action to protect her. Then he says it's to protect her, and it's also a cool talisman he made. Yi Chengxi becomes quite emotional about this, and jumps on him saying that it's really nice. But she says that if she finds out he is with someone else, she will cut off his little toy. He touches her face, making her blush. He throws her onto the bed all seductively, and says he will return in a few days. The guy is getting good at this. Sometime later, he goes to Chen's apartment. The day is short for so many girls already, and he notices that she didn't lock the door. Entering the apartment, he finds the girl sleeping on the couch. He plays with her hair, and she seems to be having a nightmare. When she finally wakes up and sees him, she hugs him tightly, saying she dreamed that her mother didn't want her father or her again, and she becomes desperate, questioning if he is going to abandon her without saying anything. Chu Qing thinks that maybe one day he will return to his world, but not now, so he assures her that he won't do that. She smiles and says it's better that he doesn't dare. Then a severe look says that if he does, something will happen. She talks about him saying she will bite him. Now she sleeps peacefully. He thinks he needs to go home because his father will be upset if he sees that he is not there. Unintentionally, he bumps the phone against the mouse, and something catches his attention on the screen. He sees some information about the family of ancient martial arts, and thinks that she helped him gather a lot of information. Then he approaches the girl and kisses her. Already in the city, he walks while using his phone, and feeling awkward, he answers his father on the phone. He is quite irritated and says he will ask his mother to pick him up. Then he explains that he is near the shopping center. Sometime later, his mother arrives by car to pick him up. He is still feeling awkward and says she arrived quickly, and the woman says she was in the area. Laughing, she questions where he was and that he smells like a woman. He feels embarrassed and says he was at a party with a lot of people, and thinks that women notice this no matter what world. Then his mother says he can't be out there alone with a woman. Our hero asks if she didn't stop smoking, but just laughing, she says it's just to hide his smell. Otherwise, his father will punish him. Ready for this cheap excuse, but he thanks her. His phone seems to receive a notification, and he notices that he sold a magic charm for 1.2 million. He realizes he could get rich and needs to come up with an idea that makes even more money. Back home, his father asks him to let him know if his mother starts smoking again, and he agrees, but doesn't snitch on mom. Through the phone, he tells the auction guy that he has something to deliver. Sometime later, he is having dinner with that guy. He analyzes that new item and, shocked, says it's worth at least about 10 million. The gentleman says he knows what it is and won't waste time explaining. With a beer in hand, he says the guy has also been investigating him. He confesses that it's the first time someone wants to be his friend, poor thing. Our guy asks why he is saying that. He says he discovered that his mother wasn't from a big family and grew up with his father. He let himself know a girl, but because she is noble, they will always be strangers to each other. Feeling this, Chu Qing says he doesn't have those problems but understands his pain. He says that his mother was from a big family that didn't accept the relationship with his father, so they ran away. But he says that currently the family is putting pressure on him and he would have to marry a huge woman who can barely fit through the door. The guy bursts out laughing while apologizing. The young man says that today he is having a great time, so it's a day to get drunk. Then they toast while the guy jokes that soon he will need a tractor to take his wife home. Sometime later, our hero stumbles while climbing the stairs. Arriving at the front door, his sister is there, reluctant, and he approaches her like a ghost, making her scream. Desperate, he covers her mouth and asks if she wants to wake their parents. She awkwardly says that he is a homebody, and being drunk like this means he will never get married. But in the next moment, she starts swaying like a green twig and falls drunkenly into her brother's lap. He takes her home and puts her in bed. It seems that our hero is a little out of shape. Then suddenly she pulls him onto her bed, and he feels good and relaxed there. The girl tells him not to be shy, referring to someone named Xiao Feng. It seems she is confusing her brother with that guy. He stands up, panicked, because she is his sister. He thinks he can't get drunk like this because of that. Sometime later, our hero is buying some new clothes and feeling like a stud. He asks them to wrap everything up and send it to his house while the girl melts. He has already bought cool clothes. Now he needs to buy a car to stop taking advantage of his friend. Suddenly someone asks if he is Chu Qing, and a guy asks if he doesn't recognize a classmate. Surprised, he asks if it's Zhou Bu. He questions if it's at the class reunion he is organizing. Our hero says yes, and that Lin Wan informed him 2 days ago. The guy seems bothered by this. He watches the young man leave, looking somewhat irritated. You remember him walking around school and people teasing him about not wanting to change his underwear. And the girls also tease him about his face, feeling a bit lonely in that place. Then he remembers that the boy spread lies about him back then, and that tonight he will have the chance to tease him again. At an agency, someone says that cars are on discount that day. The woman points to one and says that the car suits him very well. He fumbles, asking to see a more masculine one or perhaps a less feminine one. Then he finds what he was looking for, and the woman goes to bring the paperwork. They gossip because he is young and buying a fancy car. They think there must be a rich woman behind it. He feels uncomfortable that they think he earned the money without working. So that night he arrives in his fancy car and realizes that it's the place where he and Jai Yu went to eat. He cautiously enters the place. It seems like the great festival is happening. He feels embarrassed and tries to calm down. He tries to talk to the girl next to him and says he doesn't see Lin Wan, who invited him. But the girl says there's no way to know about her problems, and it seems there was a bet about how they would be dressed. He tells her that he was buying the outfit when he ran into her, asking if his brain really works. Back there, the boys are gossiping, and the young man seems somewhat irritated by our Chu Qing's success. Now you say that he probably thought he was a poor guy and wouldn't be able to buy the clothes. Chu Qing says he heard that the boy will invite everyone to eat next week so they won't forget him. The young man, not wanting to be outdone, says that the cafeteria food will be on him, and everyone cheers for that. But that boy gets even angrier. She thinks he is clever for saying it will be in the cafeteria, but still, it won't be cheap. Our hero says he lost the bet, so he's out of luck. The chaos continues there, and the crowd keeps filling the jars. Then he says they are organizing the Olympics and need someone for the basketball team, inviting Chu Qing. But Mick says he is not interested. Tang Xingyan says she was defeated by him and questions if he is trying to say she plays badly. The boy feels a bit embarrassed and says that's not it. She says the school's name is at stake and wants them to stop fooling around because they need to win. Then that boy says he has no problem, but Chu Qing might. She asks our hero what he thinks. He simply says he believes it's perfect, asking her to open her mouth. The girl turns all red, but she accepts that food in her mouth. Zhou Bu is increasingly irritated with our competitive Nissi. She asks if he wants to join the basketball team. He replies that if she wants him to participate, he will, but he has one condition. He wants a kiss. She smiles and asks if he would accept a French kiss. Then he says that's fine, but he will be the one to kiss her and asks her to close her eyes. And yes, it seems like a little kiss happened there. She feels a bit dazed afterward. She adds that since he accepted, there will be a reward if he wins the competition. The people around say that she is with her boyfriend and that if she doesn't invite them, they won't accept. She smiles and says everything is fine whenever they want. Chu Qing says he invites everyone to have dessert at a great restaurant nearby. They celebrate that her boyfriend is generous and that the girl really only notices him. Worried, she wants to know if she can afford to pay for everyone. Chu Qing tells her to relax because he is already her boyfriend and won't disappoint her. But she questions how a man can want more fame than a girl. It seems our Mixi is once again gaining popularity, and the boy is too irritated because he wanted to be the star of his own party. Sometime later, they are at another restaurant nearby. Tang Xingyan says the desserts are really great. Zhou gets all excited when Lin Wan arrives at the place. She explains that she had some things to take care of and couldn't come. She simply ignores the boy who looks foolish and goes to Chu Qing. She says it's rude of her to keep him waiting. The girl says the company wanted a video, and our hero happily asks if she has already signed the contract, until someone says that the pianist didn't show up and they will ask Joe Boo to play for them a bit. He says it will be awkward to play alone and asks Lin Wan to show them her dance. Satisfied, the girl says there's no problem with that, and she extends her hand to our Messi. She says today will be dedicated to her best friend. The people around are ecstatic that the boy has so many candidates. Then that envious boy starts to play. The girl dances with her body bent. Chu Qing says he plays very well. His new girlfriend wants to know if he doesn't prefer the dance, and he questions if she is jealous, making the girl blush. But she says the dance is especially for him, so he shouldn't disappoint her. And to the girl's horror, he pinches her cheek again. Zhao Bu is reaching his limit with the girl he likes dancing for him, while he is paying attention to someone else. So he bangs his hands on the piano, pointing his finger at our hero. He questions if he knows what respect is. Then he says the boy can play, but whether to listen or not is his decision. Zhao Bu says he doesn't care, but regarding Lin Wan. Then our hero stands up. He makes a gesture with his drink glass and downs it all at once. The girl smiles and thanks him, satisfied. Another boy seems like he is going to explode like a pressure cooker. He gets very irritated, saying he is laughing at the performance. Armix says that if he played like him, he would have already cut off his hand. In anger, he orders the boy to kneel and apologize. He says if he loses, he should say goodbye to his hands, and the boy is terrified by that. Then our hero blows a tune into the air. The people around are amazed. He finds those two girls questioning what song that is. Zhao Bu sees himself in a flowery place with butterflies. That was a true song of the gods that he managed to get when he was about to become a god. The people around say it is the most beautiful music they have ever heard, and that the boy is doomed. He feels terrified by that, and our hero casts his intimidation over him. He stutters while trembling in fear. But someone steps in front of the boy. She steps in front, calling out Chu Qing's name. With a piercing gaze, she asks if he is going to ask for forgiveness. And the girl also feels fear. Tang Xian places her hand on her shoulder. She says there is no need to scare him. He will change, and if he does that, he will end up having problems. He realizes he has let himself be influenced by the anger of the heavenly music. Then he thinks for a while, and grabs that butter knife nearby. He approaches the boy with a psychopathic look while he desperately cries. Our hero strikes him several times with hair flying everywhere. When he finishes, the boy is devastated on the ground, and he realizes that his hair has been completely chopped off. At that moment, our hero throws the knife between his legs. He says he is no longer that defenseless little boy and hopes he remembers that. The boy trembles and questions whether he is being too harsh. Chu Qing questions whether he would have stopped when they were kids and that he wouldn't kneel before him, then telling him to leave, saying he doesn't want to see him anymore. The boy leaves there humiliated, and everyone around becomes tense, whispering. Using his charm, he says that the troublemaker has left and now they can have fun. It seems that in the next moment, no one even remembers that guy. His girlfriend says it is becoming increasingly difficult to understand him. He says it isn't difficult, and that soon she will know who he is. Later, he is back in his car, and he thinks about how he will get home smelling of alcohol. He asks his sister to help him come up with an excuse, and that he won't be able to go home today. Chu Xiao gets irritated and says she won't lie for him, wanting to know where he is going. Saying the magic words that he will give her some money, she perks up. Then sometime later, he arrives at Huawe's house. He tries to use his key on the door, but he realizes that the door is open again. She finds a rather strange scene inside, and there is a bizarre guy holding the arms of one of his many girlfriends. The guy shouts, asking who he is. Then our hero says she is his girlfriend, wanting to know who the man is. The guy questions whether he is her boyfriend, and he confirms. He says he is her father and that he owes him 3 million. Hua calls him shameless and says that he was the one who made the bets, so the debt is his. Irritated, she questions how he thinks he could have that money. She throws a card in the man's face, saying it is all her money and tells him to get lost. He says it is little and that he will get the rest from her boyfriend, but she defends him, saying he is just a student. The guy says she is shameless for seducing students and that he is with her for money. She said that if he had money, he wouldn't even notice her, and our hero thinks that didn't need to be said. Grabbing her arm, he tells her to break up with him and then find a guy with money to marry. I said that besides being of legal age, the rest is also fine, saying how a woman can sell her body easily to rich men. The girl, not believing what she is hearing, calls him a jerk and runs to her boyfriend. Chu Qing says he will give the 3 million to him if he never bothers Hua again. The guy with eyes that aren't pure asks if it's serious. He protects the girl and says he will resolve this situation. The unfortunate man says that 3 million isn't enough, that it has to be about 5 to be worth it, and Huavua calls him a bastard, quite irritated. Then he asks her to sign a document to formalize this, and he will give the money. But he says he won't do that, saying he won't look for her anymore. Chu Qing tells him to write whatever he wants, but he won't get any more money from her. The man, scared, says he will sign the papers. Sometime later, he hands over the papers and asks for the money since he did his part. Reading that, he tells him not to rush and that he will show something. Suddenly, the mug he is holding starts emitting a lot of energy, and he transforms it into a kind of sword. The guy almost wets himself, asking if he can use magic. Then our hero throws it at the man. It grazes him, hitting his cheek. He starts screaming desperately, injured. He says he will send the money to him, and that if he shows up there, he wants him to know there are many ways to torture and kill a person. The man says yes and leaves in a panic. The girl hugs her boyfriend. She says she will definitely pay him back, and the boy says that this is just pocket change for him, so she shouldn't worry. Moved by this, she kisses him. The day breaks, and the two are in bed. Our hero wakes up with the light bothering him, and sees that girl watching him. He questions why she woke up so early, and she tells him to get up because she has something to teach him. A little while later, they are sitting at the table eating, and she is very satisfied and smiling. He questions why she is being so affectionate with him. Shyly, she says she doesn't want to lose him, so he tells her that she doesn't need to do those things, she just has to be herself. It seems that this gave the girl a boost to work at home while listening to music. He notices that the girl woke up full of energy, but he feels all worn out. Suddenly, his phone vibrates. He sees a message from his friend Jiayu saying that everything is resolved. He thanks him for the 5 million borrowed and says he will pay him back soon, but the guy says there's no need to thank him. Meanwhile, Tang Xian tells him to go to the basketball club after class. As requested, he arrives at the location. He sees a group there working hard on the game. In fact, if they put some dummies from the post to play, they would do a better job. Now she is sitting there feeling quite unmotivated. When our hero arrives and questions whether they are playing or just getting beaten by the ball, she says she can't wait because she has the level of a girl and that the best in the school are like that. But she changes the subject and wants to know about the medicinal formula he mentioned earlier. Chu Qing says there's one to help mages increase their magic. She questions whether he trusts her, saying she won't trick him. The guy asks if she believes he just wants to help and doesn't care about money, and the girl says yes. She confesses that she is now truly in love, and he wants to know if she didn't like him before. Then she admits that before she was only interested in him, but now it's different. She grabs him by the tie and kisses him. Suddenly, a ball comes flying at high speed in their direction. He notices it approaching, and he puts his hand up to block the attack. In the middle of the court, Ju Bu looks at him very irritated, ready. Our hero jokes that she has a very irritated fan club. Then she shouts that the punishment will be 50 laps around the court. After some time, night falls, and our hero is in his room doing his homework, when suddenly he notices his mother approaching. She sits down with a somewhat stiff expression. She asks if there is any girl he likes and wants to know the truth. He says he likes a girl and asks why she is asking that. His mother explains that it is someone helping his company, and that his family has strict marriage rules, which is why his aunt went there. But it seems that another aunt had an accident delaying the plans. Our boy doesn't seem worried at all, in fact. She says that his family will not give up on this story. Chu Qing questions whether they can't just be friendly. She says that marrying Yi Chengxi won't free him from the marriage because her family is more powerful, and asks if he knows about our national university. It seems he knows, and that it is one of the most powerful forces in the country. She suggests that he enroll in the college, and then the Chu family won't oppose the authority of the university. He thinks that the cultivation level of this world is similar to that of the fairy world, and that he wants to learn the secrets of this university. While thinking about his source of income, he considers that there are 5 levels of eternal cultivation. He spent 300 years working on this, and instead of entering the world of eternity, he came to this inverted world. Although he can't perceive it with the naked eye, he can feel how much this sword has changed. While working on what he was doing there, it seems something went wrong, and if he doesn't resolve it, he could even die. He thinks he needs to find this as quickly as possible and hide it before someone finds him. His phone rings, and it's his friend Jiayu. Shouting, he says he warned several times that there would be an auction that night, but he is still not there. It seems our hero has been daydreaming these days. He remembers being exhausted at school while receiving the notifications. Then he simply hangs up the phone and goes back to sleep. Apparently, he was sleeping at school and forgot everything, meaning everything is wrong. Then sometime later, the handsome guy is already at the location. He is interested in some material to make the sheath for his sword. Several elegant people are entering the venue, and his friend is there talking to one of them, who is very elegant. The boy gets a little embarrassed when he receives a light slap. Our hero realizes they are trying to push a famous woman onto him. Some people whisper about our hero being quick to participate in this auction, when someone intentionally bumps into him, and that couple insults our hero, calling him poor. He said that this place belongs to the Zhai family, so he wants to know why she is the owner of this location. The woman gets very angry and tells him not to think that just because he is a man, he can't get beaten up. But our hero holds the wrist of that abused woman. He says he didn't intend to talk to her, but she was the one who started it. Then he twists her arm with a bit of exaggerated force. The man who was with her becomes terrified and calls security. His friend arrives and says he is a great brother and that if Chu Qing is embarrassed, he is embarrassing himself. Then he irritably states that the two of them can no longer enter the auction house starting today. He calls security while the couple begs for his forgiveness. He comments that it seems he had a bad reception, but our hero says it's no problem. Jiayu questions if he is from the Imperial Chu family, and our hero confirms. He recounts that his aunt lost a leg and was quite injured, and that there were people there looking for information. Chu Qing wanted to know who committed the murder, but it's vague. He thinks he was worried about his family's situation in the imperial capital. Then his friend arrives, waving goodbye along with her mother. Our MC is happy to see her, and his friend greets her. Yi's mother says he needs to study hard since he will be entering university. Our hero realizes she is worried that the young man will use him, and he reassures her. Yi Chengxi tells her mother to take a walk because she wants to talk to our MC. She jumps on our coveted young man because she missed him. Clearing his throat to get attention, Jiayu says the auction is about to start, but they don't need to go in. Our young man tells his friend not to take seriously what her mother said, and his friend from the auction house says she is taking care of her favorite son-in-law. Chu Qing wants to know if there is any special metal, and the young man says to go to the room so he can give the information. Sometime later, already in that room, Yi Chengxi asks if the stone he mentioned is in the auction, and our boy says yes, and that there are 5. Then he offers a drink to the girl. The girl teases him, asking if he will give her tea with milk while he drinks wine. He had forgotten that in this world women like to fill their cups, but she gently says that if he doesn't like women who drink, she can stop. Then out of nowhere she grabs his hand and presses it against her body, saying that since they are alone, they can drink as much as they want. The poor suffering hero realizes she has suspicious interests in him. The girl says she bought maid clothes and bunny ears, and the guy almost chokes. Then he turns slightly red thinking of her that way. The girl jumps on him like a ninja, and it seems that impossible move to escape is already set up. He thinks she really is very hot and is in his hands, but that doesn't matter. Then unable to contain himself, he grabs the girl. What suffering this young man goes through. At that moment, of course, his friend arrives and catches the two in a somewhat compromising position. He apologizes for interrupting, knocking on the door and saying to continue. Excited, the girl tells him to keep going, but the young man holds her and says the auction is about to start, so he will leave it for next time. Then she provocatively asks if he is embarrassed, but the truth is that his friend interrupted the fun. Behind the door, the clever boy hears everything. Then he awkwardly enters, apologizing for interrupting the activity, but saying he has information. That duo watches from the sofa. Chu Qing is a bit disappointed with the auction items for not having anything of a god's level. His friend points out a piece of meteorite there and wonders if there is anything he might be interested in. He explains that it is enough to make a magical weapon, and that it is still warm because he almost burned himself, and the MC says that then he can create a pot with it. Yi Chengxi bursts into laughter, and the boy feels embarrassed. Then he gets irritated, saying that the guy is asking too much, and that he won't bother anymore. He hands the tablet to the girl and tells her to see if there is anything she wants. Then suddenly she sees something interesting. It is an ancient wine jar that, if drunk, will greatly increase strength. Our MC questions if she wants it but says that many people must want it and that it could bring danger. It seems that suddenly he sees something interesting there. It is not wine, but that jar could be the material of the god of gold he was looking for. And wanting to show off, Jiayu says that if he asks nicely, he can take him to see the item. But our hero declines because he knows it is exactly what he thought. Then suddenly nearby someone shouts 100 million. He thinks it's Tang Xian's voice. So he goes to the balcony on the second floor and sees that an auction is taking place. It seems he wasn't mistaken about the girl, and what is being auctioned there is her family's traditional medicine recipe. They talk about how strange it is for her family's traditional recipe to be auctioned. Then the boy says goodbye and mentions he will go ahead to check it out. A strange sound catches our MC's attention, and the girl is there next to him, preparing something. She feels awkward and says she can't help it, but if he wants, she can stop. Chu Qing asks how old the girl is and what else she thinks about besides the fun. She seems a bit crazy already, and the boy says he asked for her help to teach a woman a lesson. Our MC says that the people she asked for help back then have already been killed by her aunt. Yi Chengxi gets irritated, saying she doesn't want to kill her people. He says the woman let her participate in family matters, but that the girl is not trustworthy. Then he says she doesn't care about his family's affairs with the Tang families. He mentions that this incident could one day fall back on her own family, and she pouts, saying he sounds just like her mother, and that this is going to ruin the fun. The boy gets quite irritated, saying he doesn't want to deal with all the chaos she creates. Then he says he doesn't want his wife to know how he will die today, cry over his body, and take revenge. But she says those things are very boring, and she questions if besides that, he won't leave her aside, but he says he doesn't care about her, and now the girl says she knows but doesn't slow down. She throws herself on the couch a little later, thinking that the girl said that the next time she meets him, he will be the dinner. His friend arrives saying that those stones were sold and asks if he wants to keep the money or pay his debt. He tells him to pay the debt and is curious to know who the bronze pot belongs to. The boy says he knows who it is but due to rules, can't tell, but he could buy it back for him. Chu Qing explains that he doesn't want the wine, he only wants the pot. The boy thinks it could be a treasure and our guy can see it, and he feels a bit slow for not realizing it earlier. Chu Qing observes with a satisfied look. The boy is surprised by that, and our hero mocks him, saying he didn't notice that treasure right in front of him. But the boy defends himself, saying he won't show his technique in front of him. Then our hero says he will go home since there's nothing left, but his friend wants to take him to a cool place. Chu Qing says he's in trouble. He has schoolwork, will wake up early, and sneaked out of the house. Jai Yu says he forgot he was a student and tells him to go home and be a good boy. Sometime later, our boy drives home. He thinks he's going home quite late, but at least he managed to go to the auction. He knows that if he gets that bronze piece, his power problem will be solved, and now he needs to form his own group. Because in this world, he is not a lone wolf, but rather a boy from a family, besides having good friends as well, and of course, besides that bunch of girls he loves. So for all this, he will fight with his life. It seems he is driving quite fast down the road until he reaches a detour. He thinks it's strange not to see any cars around and remembers having seen some buildings, but suddenly something scares him. A huge lightning bolt strikes ahead, and he feels a very strong killing aura. So he drives the car into the woods, and although it seems like he is answering nature's call, he is just spying. Up ahead, he sees a group of somewhat suspicious people. There is a very old woman leading some younger ones, and on the other side, one who looks like she stepped out of an RPG game. He gets tense because he feels that the fierce killing aura is coming from there. The old woman says she bought the item, and the woman wants to break the law by killing them to keep it. The envoy of Jianwu, Yi Chengxi, had already said before, the police can't control this, and to supervise it, they wanted a department and the messenger called Jianwu. She laughs and says that the object belongs to the empire and not to a particular family. The woman tells her to get lost in questions if this is under the control of the bosses of the Purple Tunic, asking if she has a judgment order. Chu Qing asks what this judgment order would be. The excited woman says, of course. Then she quickly pulls something out from inside her clothing, catching that old lady by surprise. The old woman flies away, hitting her followers. Shortly after, the woman has already taken down everyone, and our young man thinks she is very strong for eliminating 6 at once. Then she goes to the trunk of that car and takes the jar, quite satisfied. He realizes this and also that her goal is the artifact, but suddenly the woman notices she is being watched and tells him to show himself. He appears, trying to disguise himself, but it seems he is a terrible actor. The woman responds but begins to disappear, and in the next moment she is already attacking our young man. Then she says that he must die, please. But when the smoke disperses, he is holding her fist and says it is not good for a woman to take offense so easily. Chu Qing strikes her with the sword, catching her off guard, and she manages to dodge. She leaps through the air and hits our hero squarely on the head. However, he looks on with a cold gaze and seems to have suffered no damage. That would have been a perfect punch to send the woman flying. He tells her that to kill him, her strength is not enough. She screams angrily, asking if he wants to die. Then she makes a move, tearing off her cloak, and in that moment, she has a firearm in her hand. Our young man realizes it is a very powerful weapon. The girl tells the handsome guy to prepare to die. They fire a bullet at him. In an instant, it is already cracking his defense wall, and he is quite surprised by the strength of the attack. The projectile hits squarely, to the girl's satisfaction, and a huge explosion occurs. Thinking she has already defeated him, she goes to the car to get the artifact. But in the next moment, she is pierced by our MC's sword. She looks back in disbelief. She says there is no way he could have survived, and without any mercy, he withdraws his weapon, leaving the woman on the ground. He seems to be out of strength as well since the attack was very powerful. He begins to meditate there to close the serious wounds, but it seems something is going wrong, and he feels a lot of pain. He realizes that the wound is very serious and could kill him at any moment. He analyzes the weapon and sees that it is common, nothing special. But that bullet seems to be the problem. He realizes it was specially created to deal with martial arts warriors. Sometime later, Chen Huagua notices something while sucking on her lollipop. Through the door, our hero collapses like a tree. She screams his name while he does not move on the ground. Desperate, she questions if she needs to take him to the hospital, but he says he is not going to die and asks her to clean it with a knife. She questions why he is so seriously injured. Desperate, trembling, she says she cannot do it. But in the next moment, she thinks that Yi Chengxi can do it. Time passes and the two girls are there. She looks determined at our MC and asks her to give her the knife. Without thinking twice, she plunges the knife into the boy. The boy awakens with the pain of that. Manhua is horrified at the butchery happening in her room. Some time later, the evidence of the crime is there, and our hero seems a bit calmer. She worries about him, and Yi Chengxi says he is not going to die now. Chu Qing realizes that now the two girls are there, and things are going to get crazy. The girl asks Huagua to get a glass of water for him. She observes our hero for a few seconds. She wants to know if they have anything with the girl, and it seems that things have gone really bad now. He says she can have several men and questions if he does not have permission to have other women. Yi Chengxi wants to know if he does not mind if she goes out with other men. Then the young man says she is free, and the decision is hers, but she seems to not like that very much. He explains that society is unfair, and if she does not accept, they can end it now. The woman seems ready to crush him. Yi Chengxi wants to know why he sought the girl and not her when he got hurt. He realizes that the girl dodged the question with another and responds that people have many eyes and things that strangers should not know. Yi Chengxi asks what happened that night. I ended up with a guardian messenger, the young man explains. The two are shocked to hear that. His reason for this was that the guy wanted to destroy him, so he defended himself. While showing a bullet called Wang Chuan, the young woman says it's great that he survived. That is a nightmare for martial artists because it is very powerful, still exists in small quantities, and is manufactured by the military. Yi Chengxi asks which messenger attacked the boy and hears that they don't know, but he was wearing a purple robe. The delegation is divided into 5 levels of colors, with purple being one of the weaker ones, and the supervisor wears green and is eligible for Wang Chuan. It's curious that someone in a purple robe had an item that a supervisor would have, so our hero questions the level of the martial artists there. It's absurd that he, being a soldier, didn't know that information. As a child, Chu Qing met a man who believed he had talent and gave him a book on the subject. Irritated, the girl asked him to stop talking since she didn't want to share her story. Martial arts are divided into 5 domains, and each of them is divided into up to 9 levels. She explains that she belongs to the 9th layer, but that it must be broken. Suddenly, an alarm starts ringing insistently. Desperate, the boy tries to get up to go to school since he didn't go home the previous day. However, one of the girls stops him. Believing he suffered a serious injury, they think he should rest for a few days. Chu Xing removes the band around his neck, showing that his injuries have improved. Incredibly, the boy's recovery ability is very fast. Yi Chengxi tries to understand how the evil aura of the bullet did not spread. It would be a method to hold bullets that all soldiers would like to know. Our hero will teach, but not today as he needs to go to school or he will be late. At the door, the young woman asks the other to wait for her. Huahua looks confused, glancing from side to side, and begs the girl to say her name. The other barely looks at her. She continues on her way, slamming the door as she leaves. It seems she is angry with me, thinks the young woman. Meanwhile, in a school class, Chu Xing is deeply asleep. A girl urgently whispers his name, trying to wake him up. The teacher suddenly appears, scolding him for sleeping. She also asks both of them to leave the room and to call their parents to come to school today. Upon hearing if she could call them, Tang Fi gets irritated and throws it in his face that it's his fault. Song Charan feels bad and explains that she is wrong. The MC thinks about following the same line. I promise I won't disturb others when I sleep next time, says the young man, thinking he is nailing it. Apparently, only his friends agree with his reasoning. The teacher tells him to sleep as much as he wants but insists that the girl call her parents. She wants the parents to know how their daughter is wasting her studies for the wrong reasons. The boy interjects, saying that the woman is mistaken and that she should refer to him as well. If they don't pass the test and don't score 10 points, both will have to call their parents and admit their relationship in front of everyone. Everyone should know the danger of love, which is punishment and poison for the future of young people. It seems our hero has just realized that his friend likes him. In another part of the school, a young woman is fiddling with her book. Another girl approaches and brings bad news circulating around. She is shocked to hear everything. Later in the school corridors, a group of students surrounds Song Charan. They ask if she is the one they are looking for. Incredulous, Tao Yuniao asks if that girl will try to take the president's man. The young woman becomes so distressed that she starts to stutter. Looking around, the president questions where Chu Qing is, and finds him with his head down on the desk inside the classroom. She believes the boy is crying. Meanwhile, the MC remains oblivious to the problem. The girl approaches, asking if he is okay. Then our hero wakes up, rubbing his eyes and asking what happened. She says she saw some gossip and thought he was crying, so she invites him to lunch. And that other little girl says it's her fault and apologizes. Our MC asks if she really likes him to help him regarding sleeping in class. He realizes he guessed right when the girl turns red like a tomato. He tells her to relax and says he will be her friend forever. Moreover, this is his third life. It's time to do something worthwhile. One of his many girlfriends feels a bit jealous there. Later, they are having coffee. That girl says he is just a pretty face and dares him to hug another in front of Tang Xian. telling him to apologize. But he asks if the girl is stupid and if she didn't understand what he said to her. She wants to know if he is rebellious like this because he is not spoiled by Tang. But Chu Qing says that he wants to love her, and the girl feels all satisfied. His girlfriend says that he has to be better than what she is keeping him for. Determined, he tells her to wait because he will see. Then the girl gives him an ultimatum not to make her suffer and to resolve the problem with the other girls quickly. She slams her hand on the table, saying that she is serious. But he grabs her by the shirt and pulls her clothes, saying that she is a woman too and asking if he should stay away from her. The girl turns all red from this. Tang says that it's enough and that Yunio can go now. She stands up, full of anger but still red. The girl questions if he is angry with her for not being spoiled, but he says he is different from the other boys. He says he likes her a lot and that she can trust him. We know this is just talk. The poor girl gets all excited about this. Tang says that the recipe he gave was tested by the family and is not something that helps in martial arts. It is indeed a poison. Our hero doesn't understand because he was sure it was to improve magic practitioners. But she says that they are very rare poisons and that they still want to stay with him to set a price. He realizes that the recipe that improved cultivation in the other world has turned into a poison here, and he needs to be more careful. Tang says that a low price would be humiliating, and he wants to know how much he should charge. The girl bluntly says 200 million. He is shocked because if he sells all the recipes he knows, he could get rich. Excited, he says he wants to buy some herbs from the Tang family. She questions if he wants to make medicines, but he says he can't do that. He explains that there are no men who make medicines, but since it's him, he might end up managing. Our MC realizes that this world is full of hatred towards men. She wipes his mouth and tastes what she was eating. He gets tense, asking what she was doing. Tang jokes, asking if he is embarrassed. She says she can defend him and that he doesn't need to practice martial arts anymore and that he doesn't seem well today. Then she gives him a healing potion, placing her hand on his leg. She says she will break up with him if he continues practicing because she doesn't want him to become weak and infertile in the future. She gets scared, questioning if practicing ancient martial arts affects this kind of thing. Sometime later, our hero arrives home, worried for not having gone home for a day. Suddenly, someone grabs his shirt and pulls him like a puppet. His father gives him a bunch of slaps, calling him a brat and questioning if he still knows how to get home. Someone catches the man's attention. Yi Chengxi says that she was the one responsible for being drunk, and he had to take care of her. He doesn't understand why she is there but is terrified because his father will think he was alone with a woman. The man is devastated, thinking that his son has been corrupted. Sometime later, our hero asks what she is doing there. She says she brought him a little medicine. Chu Qing asks if it is a medicine to heal wounds. The girl replies that yes, but it seems he doesn't need it anymore. She questions how he got that medication. He smiles gently, saying that he does need it, and that she is always there to help. He says he will teach her the method to hold that bullet from before, but the girl gets worried because it could cost a life. Holding her hand, he says he will start slowly. Then they both sit on the bed and begin to meditate. He uses his energy in the palms of her hands. Yi Chengxi suddenly lets out a scream. He stands up in despair, asking what happened, and the girl says it hurt a lot. Then he gives her the medicine, and he is confused, questioning what happened. He realizes that the meridian breaks when he puts the Reiki, but there is a healing. He remembers that it was different with her mother, so he will do it another way now. He approaches her determined and begins to use his energy. Worried, he asks if the girl is feeling pain, but she replies that it doesn't hurt now and that it feels very good. He realizes that is why Tang Xian said that recipe was poisonous. He keeps questioning what the biggest difference is between men and women in this world. The girl gets excited and asks him to do it again because it was quite enjoyable. But our hero tells her to get dressed quickly because he won't be able to control himself. His father suddenly appears in the room, quite irritated, questioning if they study in bed. But our young man says it's not at all what he's thinking, and the girl defends herself by saying she was just dizzy and is leaving now. The guy is quite annoyed, but our young man insists they didn't do anything. Chu Qing thinks he needs to analyze the normality of women's meridians in this world. He grabs that jar, thinking about the sheath for his sword. Sometime later, in another isolated location, someone says that only a little of that remains there as a remnant of that bullet. They say that seeing a murderer is not like seeing an ancient martial arts warrior, and you ask about that. She orders to check the hospital in Jimin and see the flow of the black market as well as the auction house. The girl asks if they are going to Jimin now. She replies that of course they are, as she wants to see the handsome fiancé her family arranged for her, Mrs. Chu's son. Out of nowhere, our hero sneezes from another corner. This raises the question of who would be talking about him. He starts working on that artifact, creating its sheath. He realizes he succeeded, and thus the sword will no longer be damaged and will soon return to its original form. He continues working hard there until he creates a mask. He thinks that when he met the messenger Jan Wu, the fight was intense, and she saw his face, so he intends to wear a mask now, and he realizes that the ancient wine only served to bring death to people. Suddenly, his phone rings. He gets tense when he sees that Yi Chengxi is saying that her mother invited him to dinner, and they are waiting for him. Sometime later in Yuji's private kitchen, the three of them dine in a secluded place. The woman says that if there is any medicine to improve combat techniques, she would like it. But our hero says he is saving the ingredients and can make it by next week. He adds that he doesn't need money, just the old martial arts training borrowed. The atmosphere of the dinner seems to change a bit. He asks if he did something wrong. The woman says she can't give it to anyone outside because it's a family heirloom. He is surprised because he didn't know it was that important, in addition to saying that it's useless for him to keep insisting because the man won't be able to become good at it. He wonders how he could explain why men have problems practicing ancient martial arts. Yi Chengxi questions if it would be a problem to show him if he were a family member, but the woman says they have to wait until he marries her. Chu Qing says she can't get married. She says this is a tradition of her family, and if he doesn't want to ruin everything, he shouldn't say that anymore. Yi Chengxi looks a little devastated. He is determined to research why a man can't practice ancient martial arts. He needs to ask Jia Yu and also pay his debt of 2 million. He questions how he got so much money and if he is secretly selling spiritual stones. But Chu Qing says it doesn't matter. He needs the martial arts training method, but the boy says it's quite difficult. Our lady says there is something wrong with his training. He wants to change. Jia Yu laughs, saying that men's training is definitely wrong and still wants to mess with it. He gets upset, wanting to know why he can't do that, and the boy just mocks him. He adds that if he wants to practice that, he should get rid of his little toy. Desperate, he questions whether to train he should get rid of his little Qing. You ask if ancient martial arts are dangerous for men. The guy explains that they need to be castrated to train them at a high level, and Chu Qing feels like an idiot for this. As a good friend, he says he can find a hospital and schedule his companion's removal. The boy tells him to stop with this nonsense, and that he needs a set of self-defense martial arts. He says he has everything, but he doesn't even believe he will be able to buy it. He realizes it will be difficult, and you ask if women are afraid that men will take over the world. He receives a message from Manhua saying that the Tang family's orders have arrived, and our hero gets excited. Sometime later, the young man is once again meditating and working. He works hard on creating those medicines. He thinks that doing this is very complicated, but like that mask, it has become easier, and he finally managed to perfect them. He already looks like an illicit seller. Huawei is peeking from the edge of the door, but our character tells her to come in because he is done. She asks what he was doing, and the guy says they are medicines, which sounds a bit suspicious, right? She questions this since it's something from the Tang family, but the guy asks if she thinks he is lying. With a puppy dog face, she asks if now that he is done, he will go home. However, in the next moment, he hugs her and kisses her passionately. The girl reciprocates the situation. Chu Qing asks if she wants him to leave or stay there. Blushing, she says that of course, she wants him to stay. He thinks she is more like the women from his world, but this time she isn't shy. Then he pulls her onto his lap and throws her onto the bed with him. The girl says they can't do this now because it's the week she is most likely to get pregnant, and she doesn't want to get pregnant so that he won't be talked about badly. But the guy questions if she thinks he isn't responsible enough. The next day at school, our main character looks like a zombie. When someone shouts his name, the guy says that his sister sent him to take him to her. They debate about him marrying his sister and also about who that boy likes. He realizes he likes brainless women like Tao Yunio. Chu Qing says that if he stops acting so shamefully, it will help him get closer to the girl. The boy says that men aren't like that and asks if he isn't shy. Our main character had forgotten that the men there are like Barbies. If the guy follows what our main character wants, he promises he will even manage to make her date him, thinking he might even force her. Right nearby, he sees Yi Chengxi. He waves and asks why she came to see him today. She asks if he is thirsty and offers him tea with milk first. Our main character is a bit curious. Let's agree that it must be spiked. Her brother protests, and she says there's only a drink for the guy and tells him to drink it quickly. He drinks that little drink, satisfied, wondering if she is upset about the previous day. And she keeps telling him to drink it all because she was in line for a long time. This is really suspicious. Then he drinks everything, and it seems he notices something strange in the next moment. He starts to see everything a bit blurry. Dropping the cup, he realizes that woman drugged him again. As he collapses on the floor, he realizes how foolish he is. Yi Chengxi pushes and kidnaps the young man. She knocks on the door while her brother stands there in shock. The girl says that now he can no longer participate in the game and tells him to take one to leave. Kicking the place, she speeds off in the car. Some time later, our hero starts to wake up and realizes that the woman is on top of him. He He screams asking what she did, and she asks him to stay calm because it's his first time. Then she kisses the guy, making him very red. Our main character asks if she hasn't had any experience with the 36 contacts she said she had. Then she suddenly gets up from the bed and says that she only controlled them and that boyfriends shouldn't be used just for that, throwing something to the guy. He is surprised to find it's the martial arts diary of his family. Yi Chengxi says he must be hers so she can see that book. He smiles, telling her not to worry because he already considers her his wife and would do anything for her. The girl says she would also do anything for him. Then he leans forward and they kiss. She becomes desperate, asking what he put in her mouth, but she will find out soon. Later, Yi Chengxi meditates and he is surprised because the woman who created the martial arts was very fierce. He finally understands that women can absorb spiritual energy in that world and men cannot, which is why they can't train. The emergence of ancient martial arts changed women and made them dominate the world. This might be able to alter the art so that men can practice without getting hurt. The girl continues meditating when she manages to awaken some power. She questions her boyfriend about what he gave her because she managed to access the third layer. Chu Qing says that it's a wine that helps women improve their martial arts. Surprised, she asks where he got it, but he says it's a secret. Now that she's feeling powerful, she wants to test her strength against him. She jumps at the guy who is just there reading, but he stops her attack with one hand. Without even bothering to get out of bed, he makes a very skillful counterattack on the woman, causing her to fall into his arms. He tells her that he can't stand this. Apparently, she is excited and wants to repeat what they did. He asks if she is not satisfied already, but it seems that her reaction answers the question. The girl says that she is still Yi Chengxi, the one in control, and will show him again. The next day, our young man is at school looking all worn out. It seems this is his routine. That irritated girl is waiting for him, and she says that Sister Tang is waiting to see him. The young man is terrified, having a bad feeling, but he goes to see the girl. She asks where he was last night and what he was doing. Our hero responds that he was at the hotel and slept with Chengxi. She stands up, slamming her hand on the table. She asks if he has no shame since he is now her boyfriend and should know his responsibilities. He then questions if being together means he will be her only companion and husband in the Tang family. The girl replies that her family does not allow that. Chu Qing says that if that's the case, everyone should have equal rights. Irritated, she asks how men and women can have the same rights and wants to know if he wants to become a woman. But he says he just wants to be himself and will show the world what it means to be human. She teases him, saying he must really study a lot. Chu Qing questions if she didn't say she understands him, and if she can't accept him, she will follow her own path. She asks if he is going to go out like that, and if all men are irresponsible. But our hero retorts, telling her to say whatever she has to say. She confesses that she likes him a lot and that she should have a position as his wife in the future. She is very angry with Yi Chengxi to the point of wanting to kill her, but our hero says he won't let her do that. Tang says she knows he will be sad if she kills the girl, so she will give him a chance. Then she says they should have an arm wrestling match. If she wins, she will tear both of the girl's hands off. If not, she will let her go. He gets excited, asking if that's all, but it seems she doesn't like it much. She says she doesn't know if he can prove he is better than her, so he suggests they start right away. The two sit at the table and prepare themselves. Tang says she will never give up, but he says that's not necessary. They both begin to use their energy. At that moment, he realizes that this girl's martial realm is stronger than Yi Chengxi's. Chu Qing is terrified because if he loses to one of his many girlfriends, he will lose his hands. He then decides to cheat a little because he can't afford to lose, and he uses that item to gain more strength, easily defeating the girl afterward. She seems unable to believe what just happened. Then he stands up and tells her to keep her word. Tang says she will forget that she was betrayed this time, but if it happens a second time, things will get crazy. He reminds her not to forget that she is his girlfriend, and even if they don't get married, she will be involved in his life forever. Then afterward, our hero returns home, hearing his mother say that he wouldn't come home because he was doing schoolwork. A little while later, he says that the teacher dismissed him, so he came back home. The girl says her name is Gong Yu, and that she is his fiancé. He says she can have dinner there but should stop talking nonsense. She laughs and throws the marriage contract at him, questioning if her aunt didn't tell him. Then our main character reads that paper and says he has no idea who Chu Lanlin is who signed that, so she should have a good life and not disturb him. The girl says it doesn't matter. What matters is that her parents recognize it. His mother says that the one who signed was the head of the Chu family, who is our hero's grandmother. He starts to get quite irritated that she is threatening his parents in front of him. Then he tears that paper up. He was quite brave, and while grandma might get a bit upset, she won't tell her. Our hero thinks this girl needs to be taught a lesson. Impatient, he tells his parents that he is going out for dinner. Excited, Gong Yu says they should go together to develop feelings for each other. Sometime later, the two are on the stairs of the building. She says she is a bit problematic and will give him a score of 2. Wanting to mess with the girl, he says he wanted to hit her for a while now, but she easily dodges his attack. She prefers to be complimented and thinks it's kind of messed up that he wants to hit her like that. But our NC says he should start when he knows her whereabouts. Gong Yu says he should be grateful that someone from a family like hers wants to marry him. Our hero tells her to shove off and says he doesn't care, giving a kick to the cute blonde. She counters that surprise attack and seems satisfied with that while our hero is quite annoyed. He realizes that the blonde is stronger than Tang and his foot is a bit messed up. She says he is handsome and getting irritated like that will give him some wrinkles. Tense, he realizes he will take a beating if the fight continues like this. So he summons his righteous sword, or not so much. Finally, the cute blonde is surprised, and it seems she is going to grab something from among those huge things there. Our dear one prepares with the sword, and the chubby girl tells him to chill out. Chu Qing is surprised because she is the strongest woman he has ever seen. She says he is qualified to be her husband, but is curious because his aura is very familiar. But our hero wants the good life, and just hearing about marriage gives him chills. She confesses that she is not on board with that either. She tells him that she wasn't popular and now discovers that her fiancé is handsome and strong. Our hero thinks she is just messing with him. She wants him to give in a little because he will be hers anyway. But Chu Qing questions what happens if he goes to the National University. Then she bursts out laughing, asking if he is joking. He leaves irritated, thinking that when he enters the university, he will punch her. The girl switches to chatter mode, teasing him about there being no men at the university, among other things, and she says that the men who go to college end up changing their sex with surgery. He notices something strange, and the girl gives him a slap. However, when he tries to retaliate, she easily stops him, telling him to calm down. Then all sweet, she says she has already stopped. 2 days later, back at school, he studies thinking he needs to be accepted no matter what. His friend asks if he is not on the basketball team, and he replies that he was expelled for being too successful. Xiao Wu tells him not to forget about the basketball game later, but our studious boy says he has no time for that. He picks up his book and says he has to go. Then he throws it far away and leaves somewhat reluctantly. Our boy becomes quite irritated about this. He takes a book from the table and throws it at the arrogant boy. He calls him ungrateful and asks if he wants trouble. But our hero is already on him, intimidating him, and tells him to go get the book now. Irritated, the boy is not at all patient, and he jumps at our MC, saying he thinks too highly of himself. He dodges, realizing the boy wanted to grab his hair. He tells Yimao to get out of the way, telling our hero not to run away. But what is this? The boy is out of control and even bites him. Suddenly, someone grabs him by the arm, and our hero separates the two while the crowd is already excited about the fight. He pushes that strange boy away. Calling our boy an offense, he says his arm is being hurt. He is upset for having his father insulted, and finally, the boy apologizes to our patient MC. Chu Qing tells him to apologize for acting like an animal with Yimao. Someone appears asking what is happening. The vice president says that anyone who fights around here will have to go to the principal's office, and the boy begs the girl for help. But our hero plays a little trick on him with his mouth. Chu Qing says the boy bit her friend, asking how that will be resolved. Yunio asks if that is why he responded with more aggression, but he says he should be praised for suppressing all that violence. She goes to the boy to see what he has to say, but it seems he drools a little on the girl. Then she runs out screaming in despair, while everyone around laughs at him, and he runs away crying, upset. Chu Qing tells him to go to the infirmary, but the boy is worried because the girl will complain to Tang. He questions how he can be afraid being from the Yi family, but the boy just does not want gossip. He knows it is not Yimao's fault. He only wanted to help, but this world is not a bed of roses. Meanwhile, the girl goes full of anger to complain to Tang. She bangs on the table aggressively and asks if she knows what her boyfriend has been up to. She keeps talking non-stop, criticizing our hero who is so correct, and Tang tells her not to be fooled by Chu Qing. She says she will not be fooled and that she should break up with him because he cheated on her and is nothing more than a handsome face. Tang seems not to like the comment. Fearful, Yunio tells her to forget it, that everything is fine. She says she told the boy to inform about the basketball game, but it seems Xiao Wu got into trouble first. Yunio says the girl has changed and that Chu Qing is as clever as a fox. Sometime later, the basketball team goes after our hero. Zhou Bu says he told him to inform about the game. He could even refuse, but why act that way toward the boy? Suddenly, some keys fall to the ground, and our boy says he will make him pick them up while Zhou, annoyed, tells him to get ready. He says to do as he wishes, but Tang Zilan wants him to be in the game. Chu Qing says he will resolve it with Tang and that they can go now. Zhou Bu says it will look bad for him, and if he likes to act fragile, he should keep his word. Chu Qing does not quite understand what he is talking about, but decides to go to the game. Sometime later, some cheerleaders appear there. That is Lai Huanger, the president of the student council. It seems the two girls do not get along very well. Xiao Wu says the game seems important and that there are many people around. A boy waves at them. This is Zhang Xifei, and he tells them to go that way. He says to sit there and that he will call them when it is their turn to enter. Chu Qing notices that the chair is damaged, and he says it seems he will not play right away, thanking for the seat. He goes to the chair and starts to sit down, while the boy is quite pleased with the trap. But at the last moment, he sits in the chair next to it. The boy leaves disappointed. He thinks the chair is full of super glue and still tries to get revenge. Suddenly, a note appears in front of his face, and Tang asks how he feels sitting on the bench. He realizes the girl is still angry, as if she has no reason to be, and he replies that he feels great and tells her not to sit next to him. But just as he finishes writing, she is already there, so he shows the note to her. Tang stands up immediately, embarrassed, but it seems the chair holds her shorts. She turns red, full of shame, and our guy jokes that it is pink. Furious, she questions why he didn't say anything, but he defends himself, saying he did warn her, and the trap was for him, but she was the one who sat down. She takes off her jacket at that moment and ties it around her waist. With that, our hero turns red. Tang teases him, saying he likes her body, but he stands up and covers her. He tells her to stop it because he doesn't want others drooling over her. Tang gets excited, realizing he is jealous, but she says it is better this way and it is something he will have to get used to. She says the game is about to start and walks away while he remains furious. The game finally begins, and Zhou Bu starts doing well in the game, but he loses the ball to the boy from the opposing team. He points his finger, making a signal. Chu Qing notices that the team is good and that Tang trained them well. At that moment, they recover the ball, but he realizes something is wrong, that something isn't right. It seems the other team is more lost than a blind person in a shootout. The president questions if that is Tang's boyfriend. She says he is a cutie and that if her team wins, they can bet him for a month. Irritated, she says no way, but the president mocks her, asking if she is afraid of losing her boyfriend, and the girl says if her team loses, she will run naked. Tang seems to like the idea. She stands up, seeming to have some secret. Lai Huander says it's time to stop playing like amateurs and show their skills. At that moment, the guy appears very quickly in front of Zhou Bu and easily takes his ball. He jumps much higher than the boy could. He finishes by scoring a point for his team. Tang becomes worried about this. She questions if they were playing poorly on purpose, and the girl tells her not to forget that she will lend her boyfriend to her. Chu Qing observes that situation and thinks that the team captain is hiding all his strength. Then suddenly someone calls him, and she says it is now his turn. But he mocks that they only wanted him on the bench while Tang says they can't lose. Embarrassed, he says that if they lose, he bet he would lend himself for a month, and he teases her, saying that the girl is pretty and she shouldn't lose. Tang gets very tense about this. Chu Qing says he can play but wants Zhou Bu as his cheerleader. Smiling, she says that's easy, and she says that if they win, she will let him play with that a little bit. Shortly after, the guy is in the stands, looking very excited. He watches our hero full of envy, and determined, Chu Qing enters the game. The captain of the other team throws, but our hero easily takes the ball. The team advances together, and Chu Qing ends up losing the ball. The president of the other team laughs hard at that. She says her boyfriend is a bit of a klutz. He thinks they are doing well behind and would rather play with some dogs than with that team. Our heroic savior takes the ball. Then he throws it with the whole team trying to stop him, scoring a point for his team, and wouldn't you know it, Zhou Bu is happy celebrating. He shows off a bit. Out of nowhere, he throws the ball to the captain of the other team. They are left confused as to why he did that. Everyone from his school calls him a traitorous idiot. The president laughs, saying he can hardly wait to be with her, and Tang gets scared. The guy thinks they need to win that soon. Then he jumps to throw the ball, but our hero appears like an oppressive ghost and pulls down the guy's pants, leading him to die. That captain stands there with his guard literally down, and Chu Qing says that gender characteristics appear at 17 or 18 years old and wants to know where his voice is. Everyone around is shocked by that revelation. It seems the president didn't like being found out. Our hero leaves, leaving the girl speechless. Everyone is saying it's absurd that they should be disqualified and everything else. He approaches his girlfriend and adds that he will hold her to her promise even if they won like this. Tang says he can touch her freely if he has the courage. But it seems it's not that simple, right? Then 3 days pass. Our hero is studying hard. His friend tries to cheer him up and says it's a mess. But our hero says he wouldn't understand. He is trying to find a way for a man not to explode while training martial arts. He tells Chu Qing that Tang wants to see him at the martial arts center. He worries that she is upset he didn't play with her toys and asked for a duel. He goes there since he has no choice and finds Tang. He tells him to get in and fall inside. Embarrassed, he asks why. Tang explains that if he loses, she will tell. Sometime later, she is in a somewhat complicated position, and he says he won but still wants to know what the deal is, but she says she would only tell if he lost, and he wants to know if she is upset because he didn't touch her, and she retaliates, almost hurting our guy. He falls to the ground, hurt. He questions if she has gone crazy. She says he is just a boy and very shameless, and he asks if it's just about touching her. Tang replies that it's nonsense. She wants to know why he hasn't stopped with the martial arts and why he isn't obeying her. But he says she doesn't need to worry. He won't kick the bucket. But she says only men become widowers. Women don't even if they wanted to. Then suddenly, she lifts his shirt, and he realizes she is wearing nothing but the kimono. Tang kisses her boyfriend, but he suddenly pushes her away forcefully. He stands up and says they shouldn't do that there. She turns red and asks if he is embarrassed, and it seems that hits him hard. Then he throws her to the ground and says there's no chance, that it's impossible for any man to feel embarrassed with her like that. Suddenly, someone coughs from behind, and there are a bunch of people watching the spectacle. A made-up person is observing this. Then out of nowhere, Tang grabs the boy by the collar and shows him, saying he is her boyfriend Chu Qing. She introduces him as her caretaker father Ting Yu, the owner of this martial arts pavilion. He is somewhat horrified, not knowing how he breastfed her when she was a child, but he says she is exaggerating. That place belongs to the Tang family, and he just manages it. And he says these 3 boys said she called them there. The girl confirms, and our hero is curious about why she called Zhu Bu there. They apologize for setting the trap and for playing poorly against the high school team. Tang says he will deal with Lai Huang later, but wants to resolve things regarding the 3 of them. Not only did they isolate Chu Qing, but they also put glue on the chair. They climb into the ring, and the fight stops beautifully. The guy says he has some medicine there and gives other instructions. Our hero realizes that he doesn't respect Tang very much. After a while, he tells our guy to sit down, and Chu Qing says it seems like he wants to say something. Calmly, he serves tea. He starts asking about his family and says he isn't that stupid. Chu Qing thinks he has already checked his background, but he is not his father-in-law, so he finally sits down. He questions whether he thinks his family is poor and that he doesn't deserve Tang Xian. The father says he didn't say that, but he is rude and cannot be the head of the family like this. But he says he should relax because he won't marry into the Tang family. He says he is convinced of this, but some don't believe it. The guy gets quite irritated, calling him arrogant. He tells him to talk to Tang, and if she doesn't want him, he can leave. The guy slaps our arrogant hero in the face. He says that Chu Qing takes advantage of that pretty little fox face and that he will scratch him all over. The boy just watches him with a serious look. An explosion happens in that building. Tang even pauses from the beating she was giving because of it. A noise comes from above, and she realizes that something bizarre must be happening. The whole room is broken, and our hero is standing, watching that guy. He says he needs to worry because he is good at fighting, and Chu Qing believes he thinks the boy is a eunuch. Tang rushes in, and our guy says that the man wants to separate the 2 of them. But the man mocks him, saying he was saying that he couldn't be the head of the Tang family. Our hero points his finger at him, telling him to listen, and he says he would never marry her even if she begged. He adds that whether he is a man or not is his problem. He says that everyone who has hit him ended up dead, and he is only alive because of Tang. The guy gets furious, telling him to get inside and says he will scratch his whole face. Then our hero summons his sword and throws it at the target. The man is in shock when that weapon passes by his side, and then he falls to the ground, trembling like a chihuahua. The boys who were being beaten by Tang find him scary. The girl goes to her father. Sometime later, in a meeting of hooded people, the girl says that Xuzai's death must be related to the bottle, and they found something while checking the auction house. She shows the stone and says it was the last thing auctioned there. Ganyu says that Jai Yu must be hiding something, and the girl says they will capture him immediately. She says he is still part of the Zhai family and that they cannot just capture him, so they must find the people who went to look for him. Sometime later, the girl runs in, asking if Chu Qing doesn't want to go out with a beautiful girl. But that room is already empty. She feels a bit upset that he is not home. She sees a note on the table and is surprised. Chu Qing says that Tang is not in a good mood and asks why they are still there waiting. He said talking to smart people is better, and if they accept his little brothers, he can take care of them. The boys suddenly kneel down. They grab our hero, saying that if they protect him, he can even call him father. Our hero says he will get medicine for them, thinking they are quite shameless. He asks Tang if she has any medicine to lend, and she throws her bag at the boy. Chu Qing hands the medicine to the injured boys, who thank their boss. Meanwhile, the girl continues her way down the street. He follows her and asks if she is angry. Chu Qing says he can apologize to her, but won't apologize to that babysitter father. But she says it's not necessary because he doesn't have exemplary behavior, which is why he is taking care of that place. The boy thinks that justifies him being so irritated, but she tells him that she didn't think he was so strong. Chu Qing explains that he is not that strong but knows how to intimidate people and that there is no problem down there. It seems she is not upset about what happened with her babysitter father, so he asks what happened. The girl said she was rejected by her boyfriend. He is startled, and she asks if he didn't say he would never marry her, even if she begged. Our hero approaches her. Then he says he won't marry her but wants her to be his woman. Tang feels a bit better and asks how she can be sure he will marry her. He replies that if she doesn't marry someone as good as him, who will she marry? And the girl wants to be sure of that. But stammering a bit, she doesn't respond. Then she steps away from him, saying that if they are not going to marry, she has been rejected. He tells her that even without marrying, they will be together forever, and she will be treated as his first love. They embrace and kiss. Tang wants to know if he will marry someone else, but he promises he won't, so she asks about Yi Chengxi. Our hero does not intend to marry her, but will make her his second wife. Then he runs away when Tang says he is a shameless scoundrel trying to kill him, but he sees something and makes her stop. There is a woman watching them from atop a wall. She emanates power and is smiling at them. He remembers that man saying his master would kill him and realizes she is stronger than he is. He tells her that she is an old friend, will talk to her, and asks the girl to go ahead, but she, irritated, tells him to go back first. He says that this woman wants revenge because of Yi Chengxi and questions if she is sure she will stay with him. Tang, filled with hatred in her heart, stomps on the boy. She says she will return to help and not to die until then. Then the girl runs off, leaving our shameless hero behind. The woman approaches, emanating all her frightening power, and he asks if they can talk. She merely observes him coldly and attacks with her weapon unexpectedly. She strikes with that thing in front of her. Chu Qing realizes she is right in front of him, and even though he is evolving quickly, the women in this world are absurd. She watches our boy fleeing far away, but she decides to pursue Tang instead of him. Our hero notices this and becomes afraid, and that woman is already almost on top of his girlfriend, but he jumps in front of her, blocking the way. At that moment, she grabs him by the neck tightly and lifts him off the ground with ease. She tells him to hand over that martial art to her or she will kill everyone. He thinks that this conditional conversation is good in the end and says he can teach her but has other treasures. The woman says that besides his life, she will want everything. Frightened, he asks if she doesn't want to learn the wind technique she just used, but she says she will make him wish she were dead. He offers himself to the girl, saying he won't resist if she wants him. The girl says that if she wanted him, he wouldn't even be able to resist, and he screams asking if she needs to kill him. Then she says he has to die to comfort the spirits of her students. Dragging him by the neck, she takes him away. Sometime later, they are in a kind of warehouse, and our hero worries about being there. She says she will extract his techniques directly from his essence, and people who go through this suffer a lot until they die. Our boy tells her not to try to scare him, as he won't let her do that. He asks her name, says she has character, and questions if she wants to turn him into a ghost. Suddenly, she zaps him away. The woman seems to be on the defensive, and our hero doesn't understand anything. Chu Qing thinks she might be there to capture him because of the messenger he killed. The girl then orders her to hand over the boy to her. This woman says that will depend on her abilities. Then a huge explosion occurs inside that warehouse. A massive energy begins to circulate around the place. Our hero searches for something inside his clothes and thinks that it doesn't matter who will win. He is screwed either way. He realizes there is only one way out. He attacks that woman from behind. As for how to be sure she will try to kill him, it's a kiss and goodbye now. But she still manages to hit him, throwing him far away. He starts to tremble, severely injured from the attack. Gong Yu seems to remember something. The woman falls to the ground, already lifeless, and he leans on his magic sword. The woman watches him for a few seconds. Then she removes her hood and says he is very cruel. Our hero is shocked to see that it is that girl. She said she came there to see if he would fall in love with her after he saved her and questions if he was the one who killed the woman in purple. Chu Qing admits that he killed a woman in a purple robe and asks if she came to investigate that. Gong Yu says yes, and that she never imagined he was under the same roof. She points the gun at him and questions why he killed her. Then she asks if he wants her to say it was self-defense or if his fiancé ordered him to kill her. The girl asks if he is threatening her, and our hero says he is her fiancé and asks if she really wants to arrest him. She calls him shameless for now talking about marriage, and the young man says he just doesn't want to die. Then the girl bursts out laughing, and he warns her to be careful not to end up without a fiancé. The girl tells him to find a hotel because she wants to ask something. Once in the hotel room, she says she wants to talk seriously now. Then she approaches our young man and says she found something. She shows him that paper, asking where he found it, and our boy says he made it. She seems to not believe him, but he says he has no reason to lie. Surprised, she questions if he can create training methods, but Chu Qing says that for now it's just a prototype. She confesses that he could be admitted to the university, so she wants to make a deal. Suddenly, her clothes fly off as he questions what the deal is. She says she will help him solve his problems if he helps her heal. She might even offer some extra benefits. Chu Qing will need to figure out what her problem is on his own. otherwise he will be sent to the ministry. He explains that her training is not suited to her body, so she will end up gaining weight. Happy, she hugs him, saying he will manage to heal her and will even give a reward soon. She says she will solve her problems, so he doesn't have to worry because the matriarch is quite old. Chu Qing still doesn't understand why he has to get married and questions that. And the girl says that to learn more, he will have to kiss her, and she guarantees the information. Chu Qing wants her to tell him first, and then he will kiss her. He says that he actually thinks she is quite beautiful, and the girl turns red, thinking it's the first time someone has complimented her. Then he asks her to hurry up. He says that the supervision department is directly responsible for the Empress's safety, and the imperial family has always been from the Gong family. Chu Qing is surprised, thinking she must be quite important. She could never be Empress, and she explains that someone broke the tradition, and the Chu family took the place of this other imperial family. Chu Qing knows that his family was expelled a long time ago, and now, for convenience, they are looking again. The blonde girl asks if he can help her now, but our boy says he wants those 1-1 bullets. However, the girl says that wasn't part of the deal. He puts his hand in a somewhat strange pocket, and says he can make a deal to trade this pill for the bullet. Gong Yu questions if that alone is enough to heal her, a strange place to keep pills. He confesses that he still doesn't know how to do that, but the pill could be a good start. Then she eats it, a bit suspiciously. Wow, what courage. But she feels something powerful right after. He explains that this pill is called a tonic medicine, and after ingestion, it increases strength by 30%. Gong Yu takes her gun and fires a bullet, and quite excitedly, she says she wants 10 pills of that. The two people there are very happy with what they achieved. He says that this bullet seems more powerful than the one the other woman used, and the girl explains that these bullets have quality levels, and hers is level 3, but there are even up to level 5. Suddenly, the girl leans against something nearby, and says it's time to show more action because she wants to see his skills. Now it's on. Moments later, our hero is taking care of the girl's head, and she seems to be really enjoying that sensation. A little while later, she touches his face and feels something different, and our hero gives her a surprise kiss. Chu Qing says that as promised he kissed her. She turns very red, touching her face. Then she grabs a mirror to look at herself better. Suddenly, she hugs him and says she loves him very much. Then he says he can only go this far and can't do anything more. She observes her body a bit. Then she questions if she will stay like this forever with a normal face and a more swollen body. The young man says he can reverse it, but the girl questions if there is really something so serious with her training method. But he says it's not about training, it's about her constitution, and if she continues like this, she will die. She said that if there is a problem like this, he can help by creating an effective method. Chu Qing says that it is not easy to do this, and that her inner pillar seems to have been taken from her a long time ago. The girl is devastated by this. He then says that whoever took her spiritual root must have been someone from her own family. She gets angry, pulls out a weapon, and threatens him. Based on this, our Sherlock Holmes says that she must want revenge since she trains even putting her life at risk. The woman then fires at our boy. He dodges and tells her to calm down because if she continues like this, the treatment may lose its effect. In the next moment, she calms down but leaves a hole in the room. Suddenly, it seems that she is extremely injured. He apologizes and says that it seems the hatred between him and the Chu family cannot be remedied. It seems that both have problems and can work together. Chu Qing says that when she is in the imperial capital, she will try to help her. He tells her to stop training because he doesn't want to go there just to see her corpse. The girl laughs, questioning if he will do his best to help, and adds asking if he feels sorry for her. Sometime later, Tang appears on the street accompanied by another woman. She says that he was there, and now another one says she is seeing signs of a struggle. Tang gets irritated, saying that she asked for help and it's not time for jokes, and the woman says that her aunt is older and should be respected, adding that she was forced to come here while she was having fun. Her aunt says that she is very attached to him and compares the boy to a man she was with, but Tang says that her boyfriend is better, and the woman's eyes light up and questions why she didn't say so earlier, because if such a handsome guy dies, it will be a waste. Suddenly, the girl's phone rings, and she answers worriedly, asking where he is. Her aunt said that her boyfriend's voice is beautiful. They are relieved to know that he is already home and says that he will see her again at school. She is really relieved now, and her aunt is a bit too interested in him. She says that maybe he is lying about being fine and that she should go to his house to see if he is really okay. But Tang says no. Since her aunt sacrificed to come here, she wants to spend a night with her boyfriend, but Tang tells her to forget it. Back home, her mother asks if the fiancé is not going to dinner. Chu Qing tells them not to worry about that chubby girl because she should be returning to the imperial city. They are surprised, questioning if she really went, but think that the wedding is still on. The boy tells them that she will not get married in the next few years and that all of this is related to a person named Chu Lan. His parents seem to have become scared. He really thinks that the Chu family is the enemy. We will not let any of them escape. Meanwhile, a plane continues on its course, and a girl delivers the list of people who had contact with Jia Yu. Gong Yi calmly analyzes the list, and there she finds the record of her fiancé, while she thinks that their destinies are intertwined. He goes to his sister's room to see if her bed is intact since his fiancé was sleeping there. You notice that the bed has a huge hole. Chu Qing is genuinely excited to know what his sister will say when she finds out what happened to her bed. On the other side, his sister answers, and he hears something suspicious. He realizes that there is a man's voice on the other end. In another location, his sister is having fun. She tells him to hang up because it is not a good time for anyone to call her. On the other end of the phone, he says that he heard a man's voice and asks if he doesn't love her anymore. The boy is devastated and says that she lied to him, saying that she has another man, but she defends herself, saying that she does not. She panics, saying that he is joking with her while the boy breaks down in tears. At that moment, he laughs and asks to pass the phone to him. The boy takes the phone and says that he is the love of her life and that he should stay away from the girl or something will happen. Chu Qing says that his sister is a flirt and not to be fooled by her. Embarrassed, he says that it seems he is indeed her brother. She scolds our hero and says she will hang up the phone. Our hero asks if she wants some money since she has been away from home for a long time. Suddenly, the gold digger gets all sweet, saying that her brother is the best. The boy says he also has money, but she replies that she is a woman and shouldn't be spending his cash. Looking at her phone, she sees that she has the equivalent of 360,000. She is shocked by the amount of money and thinks about Yi Chengxi. The girl tells the boy about this, and he says that if Yi Chengxi is bothering him, he will do something about it. Despite liking his pure heart, he mentions that the girl is from the Yi family, and the boy stands there in the pleasant location, thinking about this. Sometime later, the group of boys calls Chu Qing their boss. They are afraid of practicing ancient martial arts and becoming powerless. He says that this training is different and that he himself is not like that, so he needs all of them to be useful. He tells them not to worry, as their big brother will teach them. Yi Chengxi appears, saying that he is not mistreating his classmates, and our hero jokingly asks if this type of person also wants to know why she is there. She says she came to look for him and brought tea with milk, but assures him that it is not spiked. Chu Qing explains that he doesn't really like that kind of drink, and the girl gives him a little sniff, saying that what he likes is right there. Someone appears, saying that he is Chu Qing, and that well-dressed woman says that her boss wants to see them. Yi Chengxi says that those people are from the Tang family, so our hero asks her to show the way. A beautiful car appears nearby, and our hero approaches, saying that they are looking for him. The woman inside looks at him sternly, accompanied by Tang's babysitter. Chu Qing smiles excitedly, saying that the babysitter is there too. Furious, he says that he is not a babysitter and has already told her that he is not good for Tang Zian, and our hero says that his mother-in-law thinks so too. The woman says that she is not his mother-in-law. Giving a disguised look, he realizes that he is indeed being underestimated there. So he says that if they don't want anything to do with him, he will leave, and the father and babysitter become increasingly irritated. She says that he is smart, but that is not enough to be with her daughter. The boy says that he is capable, and he mentions that he heard that her family has already noticed this. The two glare at each other irritably for a moment. Suddenly, the woman asks if classes are over for Tang, and the girl is surprised that they are there. Our hero also notices that their expressions have changed. She asks our hero why he is there. Then he holds her and kisses her. The two people inside the car need to pick their jaws up off the floor. Nearby, it seems that someone is watching. It seems that now the weather has turned against our hero. Tang tells her boyfriend that it is late and that he should go home. He watches the girl get into the car and drive away. Then he smiles, satisfied with this good life. But then someone grabs him by the collar and thinks it is time to say goodbye to him. He is thrown into the car like a grocery bag, and the bold boy tells her to say who made her nervous, and he will take care of it, knowing full well that he is in trouble. The girl, smiling, says that she will handle it herself and presses a button. She starts to take off the boy's clothes, but he protests, saying that they are in front of the school. Yi Chengxi asks why he kissed that girl and didn't think before doing it in front of her. Then she approaches our hero and kisses him. The afternoon passes, the night passes, time goes by, and the boy later asks if she is satisfied. And she is there smoking a standard cigarette and replies that she is. She grabs him by the collar and pulls him close. She tells him not to get close to other women in front of her or it will end badly. He gets out of the car and says that he needs to go home. Chu Qing thinks that this girl's tea is always dangerous, even when it is not spiked, and comes to the same conclusion. She looks out the window, thinking that he is only hers and no one else's, looking like a psychopath. Suddenly, her phone rings and she thinks it is a miracle that her sister is calling her. In a very strange way, she asks him to apologize to their parents and take care of them for her. Our hero worries and asks what is happening. A woman says that she is busy and will give him half an hour to get there, and if he is even a second late, he will only find a body. Looking at the information, he discovers that the Drunken Dream Warehouse is a place for illegal sales run by the Yi family and 2 other forces. His friend says that the leader is the legendary woman named Meng Zui, who possesses unimaginable strength. Our hero says he doesn't need help. He thinks he must save his sister at any cost. Finally, he arrives at that location. The woman says he must be Mr. Chu and should take the elevator to the 67th floor. Obeying this, our hero goes to the indicated floor. He finds a huge empty corridor. He clenches his fists and moves forward, furious, until he finds at the end a woman with his sister, who is all bruised. She screams for him to run away and leave. That woman kicks her in the face as soon as she speaks. Our hero is filled with rage because of this, and he lunges at the woman, grabbing her by the neck. At that moment, someone shouts for him to stop, and a woman with a hidden face asks if he is Chu Qing. He throws that person away as if she were a doll and confirms. His sister panics and tells him to run away, but he signals for her to stop. He tells her to sleep a little, and then he will take her home, and the girl begins to fall asleep. Chu Qing demands to know who she is and why she captured his sister. She says her name is Meng Zui and that she is the owner, and his sister is a bartender there. He wants to know, agitated, what she did to get beaten like that. The woman says he should thank her for his sister still being alive. But our MC responds that for those who mess with his sister, there is only one fate, and he says it is death, pointing at her. It seems the woman wants to test to see if he is strong enough to say those words. But in a second, she passes by him, hitting him. Chu Qing is very surprised by how fast she is. And again, she is on our guy, who manages to dodge. He takes one of those pills to see if he can balance his power. Meng Zui says that if that is all he has, he can prepare to bury his sister. Then he eats that pill, and in the next moment, he displays great power. The woman's eyes widen, while he summons his weapon towards her. He hits his target perfectly, and security protects themselves from the smoke and debris. In the midst of the smoke is our hero with his swords. The woman is there unharmed and wants to continue to test him further. The woman reacts, hitting our hero and throwing him far away. The wall cracks with the impact. She says she thought he was a worthy opponent, but he seems like a child. Our hero raises his hand, interrupting the fight. He asks her to wait and inquires if they can talk, and the woman becomes curious about why. First, I want to know what the hell is going on here, which is fair. It seems that his sister slept with someone she shouldn't have, and the boy's mother came to collect. He asks if she can't just let his sister go, but the woman approaches, asking what he said. Then she lifts her veil, revealing a papaya-shaped mark on her face. He thinks that this woman is the strongest in the place and wonders who dared to hit her like that. He explains that his sister slept with the mayor's daughter, and that's why she ended up getting a firm slap. Chu Qing questions what she wants to do. Meng responds that she wants 300 million to retrieve her body, and if there is no sword, it's worth at least 200. As a result, he says he won't let her hit his sister. Our MC then asks for 3 days, and the woman says that if he can pay, she will accept. He explains that he doesn't have all that money, but asks her to see something. Then she picks up something he threw to her. Smiling, she says it seems the spiritual stones came from him, so she would accept 20 stones, but there are still other conditions. She says he will have to keep her company for a night, otherwise the deal will be cancelled. But our reserve guy asks what kind of person she thinks he is. Sometime later, he scolds the girl, thinking he doesn't do it for her. Then Meng Zui says that his sister will rest well and that they should go to the room soon, saying she will take it easy. And he jokingly says that he should be the one to say that so she doesn't beg for mercy later. The woman smiles gently at him, and in the next moment, she picks him up in her arms despite his protests. She tells him not to be conceited if he is not as good as she is, and that she doesn't like disobedient men. After a while, the two are getting intimate there. She comments that he is too calm, implying that it's not his first time. Chu Qing asks why she doesn't just kill him and steal his spiritual stones, which would be easier. But she has a hunch that if he dies, she will lose many benefits in the future, and she says she doesn't mind playing a little with him. Our hero is surprised that she does this just based on a hunch, but the woman says her hunches are very accurate, and thanks to them, she has reached where she is today. It seems that the girl is treating our hero like a popsicle. After some time, he is exhausted and wonders why he agreed to that crazy woman. She returns and says she is surprised he is so good and asks if he is already rested. He panics, asking if she wants more, and she grabs a giant syringe, saying that if he has rested, she will play with something different. Suddenly, a huge explosion occurs at the top of the building. People on the street look curiously at that unusual situation. He pulls out his sword and runs after the woman, trying to protect his precious. Smiling, she says he can refuse, but he didn't need to hit her. Then he responds that this hatred will only be associated with revenge, and if he doesn't let go, his sister will be taken along. The girl watches him with the syringe in hand, and he makes a different movement with his fingers, shattering the syringe that was in her hand. Then he grabs his clothes in the next moment and leaves the room. The girl looks down from the window as he leaves with his sister. Then with a swift movement, he cuts one of the pillars of that building, and it seems he has gained another fan, just as expected. After some time, they arrive home. My father, furious, wants to know what happened to his sister and why they arrived so late. He says he received a call from the police saying she was kidnapped, but now everything is fine. The father wants to know why this happened since they don't have money, and our hero says that many girls have been kidnapped lately. He thinks this is a tragedy, and his mother's company is also having problems. Chu Qing questions him about this, but his father tells him to take a shower and go to sleep because it's none of his business. But still, he is quite troubled by the situation. He calls someone and asks if they know anything wrong with his mother's company. Yi Chengxi asks if it's not because of him, and he doesn't understand. The girl suggests it could be a love debt with the Tang family, and he is confused because he thought his problem was with the Yi family. Then he throws himself on the bed and thinks that now is the time for his mother's company to have problems, in addition to all the others that are already happening. After some time, he goes to the company and thinks it's the first time he's seeing it. He thinks it's essential to know about his parents' work, approaches, and asks for permission. Then he asks if she can tell him where the general director's office is. The girl starts to drool and says she will take him there herself. She wants to know how old he is, saying she could be a big sister who will take care of him. And our hero just received an invitation to go boating on the river. Then he ends up finding his mother. She is surprised to see him there, and questions just that while the girl accompanying him looks somewhat surprised. She apologizes, making up a story that he is a distant nephew who came to visit her. The director seems not to believe that crazy excuse. It looks like the woman is in trouble now. Making a pitiful face, he tells his mom that she is trying to take advantage of him, and points to the girl in front of everyone. Desperate, she asks President Chu to let her explain. Directly, she questions whether she wants to become his daughter-in-law. Our hero thinks he never imagined his mother speaking this way. The girl is now going to be unemployed and can't even sing for the newbies. His mother wants to know what he is doing there when he should be studying. After a while, they are in a private place, and she asks if he doesn't have regular classes today. Our MC says he has a medical excuse, so he's fine, but she knows how this scheme works. She wants to know what happened to his sister since that story was clearly just talk. Tense, he says he didn't lie, he just didn't want her to worry. He tells her everything, and his mother almost has a fit, saying he was very brave to go in there. But he says that everything is fine with him and his sister, knowing that there is still a lot to come. Then he uses his power on a glass on the table. He makes the water float, asking his mother to see. Again, she panics, asking if Yi Chengxi taught him, fearing that he might die because of it. Our MC says that it's not ancient martial arts and that he will explain later, but he wanted her to know that he is not weak. His mother thought he had changed because he met this girl and didn't imagine there were other reasons. He wants to know why the company is doing poorly, but she says that is not his problem. Suddenly, Yi Chengxi enters the room calling for her mother-in-law. The boy feels awkward and explains that the girl said there were urgent matters with her. Our hero is surprised to see her there, and his mother says it's fine. Yi Chengxi says she heard that the company was struggling and decided to come help. Chu Qing says she needs a magic bullet so she won't feel cornered when she goes to Drunken Dream. The girl says it's easy, and he asks for help to get it. He tells her to go ahead while he checks if Huahua needs anything. Suddenly, the girl grabs our boy by the collar. She gets angry, asking if he wants to meet his concubine. She asks where the bathroom is, and our hero becomes worried about the girl's intentions. Some time later, he finds himself cornered inside the women's bathroom. He wants to know what she wants and remembers that it's his mother's company's bathroom. The girl is jealous of Huahua and wants to teach her shameless boyfriend a lesson, but he shrinks back and says he can't today. She asks if he is just playing hard to get so she can catch him. Yi Chengxi says he can even flirt with other women, but she might wake up in a bad mood and kill everyone. She says she is giving him a heads up so he won't blame her later. Our MC realizes that she wants to be the alpha in the relationship. Sneaking away, he says he needs to go now, but the girl doesn't give peace to our poor guy. Yi Chengxi thinks he is acting strange and wants to know if he is seeing anyone else around. At that moment, he remembers that fierce woman from the other night. Noticing this, the girl turns into a beast and attacks him. Later, while driving, he thinks he almost forgot about his problems because of Yi Chengxi. He thinks that his brother-in-law's house is on Suzaku Street, and although he needs good money, he needs status to live there. He thinks there might be several cameras around and still feels a powerful force that he cannot ignore. He believes he needs to prepare well to meet the Xing family members. He wants to meet his brother-in-law and see if he is a good guy and help change the mayor's opinion about him. He notices a luxury car arriving at the location, and from it, his girlfriend Tang Xian steps out. He questions how she knew he was there. Tang wants to know why he hasn't been to school for 2 days, and he says he needed to relax a bit. Tang thinks it's an exaggeration and wants to know if he is mad at her, but our hero seems not to understand. She says it must have been unpleasant to meet his mother, and his mother's company troubles are also the Tang family's fault. Chu Qing is happy that she cares about him, but says his absence has nothing to do with her. But she says he is a little rascal and is afraid he might flirt with other girls since she can't control him. And our MC compares himself to a dog being controlled. But he asks if she knows Meng Zui. Tang says she is the second master in the ranking and wants to know how he knows the woman. But he manages to get away well and wants to know who the other masters are. She says the first is from the Tang family and that there are also two from the Tang family, his mother and his aunt. Chu Qing feels relieved that he only came to take a look today, and that Huahua is indeed good with information. Some time later, he is with her and thanks her for solving his mother's company problems. She is all pleased in her pajamas and freshly bathed. Then she hugs her boyfriend, saying it was easy. Huahua says she just got out of the shower and if he wants, he can make a move. But he says he needs her help with something. She is surprised by this. He explains that he needs to go to the Xing house to save his sister, and Huahua says she can try, but it's difficult. He needs to know about the cameras and alarms, and if he can get images and something about the employees, that would be good. Suddenly, someone enters the place. He feels a strong presence behind him. In a quick movement, he draws his sword and comes face to face with a startled Yi Chengxi. She defends herself against the boy's attack, while he questions why she is there. The girl protests, saying she came to look for the boy, and his mother said she thought he was with her. The other two feel a bit tense. Our MC says he just locked the door and asks how she got in. Then the girl replies that it's because she has the key. Chu Qing wants to know how she got the keys, and Huahua says it was her who gave them. The boy gets a bit irritated by this, and takes the key from his girlfriend's hand. Number 82, I think. Yi Chengxi protests against the boy as he throws the key away, and tells her not to come there again, as she likes to mistreat honest people. Yi Chengxi says he only knows how to protect Huahua, and wants to see what happens when he needs her. Then she leaves, slamming the door hard. Chu Qing says she doesn't have to obey Huahua, and if she bothers him, just let him know. The little girl thanks him and asks if it wouldn't be better to go after her since she was very angry. But Chu Qing tells her to forget about the girl and focus on herself, wanting to know what she wants to do. Then suddenly, it seems like the world is ending. Yi Chengxi appears again, and the door that disappeared. She is there, all beautiful, with a weapon almost bigger than her, and he is a bit scared that she is now armed. Chu Qing suggests that they first talk calmly, but she points that weapon and already cocks it. Without thinking twice, she fires at them. Our hero quickly pushes the girl away and charges at his crazy girlfriend. He manages to hold the weapon before she fires again. Tense, he calls her crazy and says she had the guts to shoot. But the girl says that around there, she can kill and won't have any problems. Our hero argues with her about that, but she says she doesn't want to kill anyone. She just wants to take the ornaments off the Christmas tree. Smiling, she says she fulfilled his request efficiently and asks if he liked the weapon. Chu Qing is surprised and thinks the weapon is really ideal. He thanks her, saying that weapon is really what he needed, but he says it's late and she needs to go home, as her mother-in-law Yi will be worried. But she says her car broke down and she will stay there if he doesn't mind. The little girl is confused while Yi Chengxi gets too close to the boy. She says it would be better if Chu Qing became part of her family. And staring at the little girl, she says she loves him very much. Huahua gets very upset and starts to cry. He tells her to go watch TV in the living room because they need to work, but Yi Chengxi wants to watch them. But he says they are studying math to help him and asks if she wants to help. Yi Chengxi is a bit surprised by this revelation and decides it's better to just watch a movie calmly. Huahua gets the information and shows it to our MC and says she will help him while infiltrating the Xing house. He smiles and thanks the girl. They watch that door where the other girl went, and from inside, she seems like a nosy neighbor. Then she bursts through the door with a bang. She finds the two sitting quietly at the computer. Badly disguising, she asks if they want water, and our hero tells her to get lost. She doesn't believe that a man and a woman alone in a room are just studying. She decides she needs to go back there, but doesn't know what excuse she could give. She takes a card and thinks she found the ideal answer. In the room, the duo continues working innocently, when suddenly another loud noise happens, and she appears, kicking the door and realizing that the door was locked. It seems she finally caught those two, but she comes face to face with the two sitting quietly at the computer. She says she ordered skewers for both of them and laughs awkwardly, not believing what she sees. Our hero is furious with this nonsense. He grabs the girl who begs not to be kicked out. He gives her a slap on that area of the girl. She gets irritated, and he says if that's not enough, he'll give her more. Chu Qing takes her straight to his car and throws her inside like a sack of potatoes. Then he says there's nothing wrong with her car and waves goodbye to his crazy girlfriend. But she grabs his clothes and asks him not to go, and pulls him into the car, This girl is like an octopus. Throw him hard onto the bench, and climbs on him while the guy says he doesn't have time because he has things to sort out. But without answering, she plants a big kiss on the boy, and thinks she has to use him all up now so there's nothing left for the little one. Our hero holds her and turns his face away, saying that he is really busy right now. She starts to tease him, asking if he is sure. Then she throws herself over the bench, reversing the situation, and it seems like she will finally get what she wants. Our hero says he will take care of her. Sometime later, the well-behaved couple gets ready. She wants to know if he enjoyed it or if he is angry with her, but he says he is not angry and wonders if she can't be nice at least once in her life. Yi Chengxi says he is distancing himself from her and thinks it's because he is playing around with other women. He says he is not a puppy and has already told her that he is not like other men. He suggests she go home now and that they will see each other later. Yi Chengxi asks if he is going to come back now, but he hesitates a bit with the answer. He thinks going back to Huahua now feels very wrong, but he still needs her help. Out of nowhere, the girl slaps him hard, and he gets a bit irritated by that. The girl says it's her revenge for the earlier slap and says she enjoyed it. Yi Chengxi says she likes him because he plays hard to get, and one day he will chase after her like a good boy. Chu Qing thinks she seems like a popular girl from his world, has several flings, and still stays chill without problems. He wonders if that is good, or if it would be asking too much. While he is leaving, someone calls his name, and she asks why he can't be a good boy. Our MC asks why she can't be a good girl and marry him. Yi Chengxi agrees but asks if it's not too early since he is underage, and he questions if what they just did is child's play, making her a bit embarrassed. He asks what she wants as a wedding gift. The girl asks if it could be the whole city for her. Chu Qing says of course, and that she just has to make sure to be a good girl. She watches her boyfriend walk away, thinks he is shameless for saying all that without batting an eye. Sometime later at the Xing family residence, Huabue tells our MC that she has already hacked some alarms and cameras, guiding his safe path. But she tells him to still be careful. He puts on that mask and says he has everything under control. It seems that his sister and brother-in-law are fine, so he will check on the guy first. He looks out the window and sees a rather unusual scene, and realizes that Nis Xingyu is really having fun. He thinks Xiao Tao, the brother-in-law, must be upstairs, but something suddenly catches his attention. In the next moment, he is already up in the tree just observing, and sees an old lady passing by with a tray. She looks intently at the top of the tree, but she doesn't find her ninja up there. He swallows hard, feeling a bit tense. That old lady gets a bit fixated on the tree. In the end, she thinks she is becoming more and more useless because she is getting old. She thinks the young master is hardly eating. If it continues like this, he will end up fainting. As a woman is leaving, our hero appears again. He realizes that even while hiding his presence, she managed to sense him and thinks she was the #1 master. Sometime later, her husband is relaxing in bed. He is looking at a photo of him with our MC's sister. Chu Qing thinks that boy must be Xiao Tao. He is in love with his sister. Then with a leap, he falls onto the balcony of the young man's room. He sneaks into the house and goes to the door. Hearing noise at the door, he says he won't eat anything. He just wants to see Chu Xiao. But who appears there is our hero looking like the devil. The boy screams in terror at the scene, but quickly our guy covers his mouth. He tells the boy not to scream and introduces himself. Desperate, he asks if the girl is okay. Chu Qing is surprised and asks if he knows what happened to his sister. Desperate, he cries thinking he was the one who got her into this whole mess. But our hero tells him to be quiet because his mother wanted to kill Chu Xiao. He feels guilty because his mother wants him to marry Tang Xian against his will. Chu Qing realizes that if he weren't in love with his sister, he would have been taken down. But the boy thinks he is there to save him, so he asks him to wait while he gets some clothes. In fact, he is there to negotiate with his mother to see if he can arrange something good. But the boy says it's pointless because he believes she won't even want to meet him. He wants the boy to make sure that nothing goes wrong so that he can at least try. But since he's trapped, he suggests that he pretend to try to kill himself or something like that to keep the grandmother there with him for a while. The boy says that if it's to meet Chu Xiao, he can spend the whole night with the grandmother. Our hero thinks this family is bizarre. After a while, he jumps out of the room. Next to him, a light and some noises catch his attention. He peeks and sees a woman taking a shower when he gets an idea. The girl steps out of the shower, all wrapped in a towel and warm, when she notices something strange there, and our hero is sitting on his bed like a fool. The girl licks her lips seeing him, and he definitely believes this family has problems. Then she runs a little and jumps on him. She thinks he is the new guy sent by the Li family and wants to know what the deal is with the mask. The girl lifts the mask while grabbing our NC and says she really likes it when she kisses him. Out of nowhere, our NC headbutts the girl. The girl falls down unconscious. As she gets up, she questions if she still likes her mask. Sometime later, he is watching two women through the window. Desperate, a maid rushes in saying that the young master is trying to commit suicide. The woman says it's ridiculous, but the old lady says he is still young and immature. The old mistress goes with the maid to the location, while the other woman stays there in the room, displeased. Chu Qing seems to be satisfied with the outcome. Someone knocks on her door, and she asks who is there. The door slowly opens, and our hero appears with that bizarre mask. Calmly, she tells him to get lost now, and that she will pretend she never saw him. But he approaches and says, "Well, since I'm here," and sits down questioning how he could just leave so suddenly. The woman concludes that he saw Xiao Tao and that he is there because of Chu Xiao. Chu Qing says he is there to ask for her blessing for his son to marry Chu Xiao. She wants to know who he is and why he thinks Chu Xiao would be good enough for her son. Finally, our MC takes off his mask. She is surprised that Chu Qing is the younger brother of the girl. She realizes that Meng Zui is bold for his sister still being alive. Chu Qing says that she is responsible for his sister being alive and that she should teach her a lesson. The woman asks why she feels like she is being used by him, but he says he would never do that, and since she is generous, he wanted to ask her to let his sister go. The woman questions if it's a threat, since he carried a level 3 Wangshuan bullet in that gun. Chu Qing tenses up at this, and quickly turns his gun towards the woman, but it seems she moves very fast, and in the next moment she is already in another corner of the room. He turns around thinking that she is too fast. Our hero gets hit hard with a blow. He falls in the corner of the room and starts to get up injured. He thought the woman was normal, but she seems even stronger than martial arts masters. Holding that, she asks if he thinks he can protect his sister with that gun. Chu Qing says yes, and that he was arrogant, and deciding who wins or loses now is pointless. The woman says she actually liked the guy, and if her family were a bit better, they could arrange that marriage. But suddenly she notices something strange, and that bullet has something written on it. So she asks if that isn't a Wangshuan bullet. She questions if he is from the Gong family. Chu Qing says he isn't, but that he has a marriage contract with them. Determined, the woman asks if he has proof of that. Our MC questions if she didn't say she would accept the marriage if his family were as good as the Tang, and hands her a roll of paper asking her to take a good look. He thanks God that Gong Yu fixed the marriage contract and gave it to him. She looks at it closely, and it seems she sees something she didn't want to. Surprised, she questions if he is the grandson of Madame Chu. He confirms by saying that's right, that his sister is the granddaughter of Chu Anlan, and wants to know if she meets the requirements. Considering that the family is from the imperial capital, she wants to know if his mother was an exiled member of the family. She suggests that this marriage is just a way to recycle trash. Chu Qing says to set that aside to negotiate something else. She throws the roll back and asks what it is. Our boy catches that thing in the air and tears it in front of her, saying that to him it's useless paper. She says he is brave but questions if he knows what the words Chu Hanlan represent. The boy says that doesn't matter to him, but she says she will be nice since he is the grandson of Chu Hanlan, but that she is at most a respectable old lady. Chu Qing stands there watching, somewhat displeased. She says that if he at least knew the power of the great companion women, he might have discovered something. The boy wonders if the Empress and Xing Lai are companions, and if that's true, why she is in this district. Suddenly, the old woman enters calling for the lady. She apologizes for being late, but the woman says it's not her fault. Finally, she says she has played enough with him, and that it's time to stop. Using her energy, she asks what his last words are, but the old woman asks her to please wait. She tells that the young lady has disappeared and that this intruder might have something to do with it. She grabs the boy by the neck and asks where her daughter is. Chu Qing says that's exactly what he wanted to discuss with her. Furious, she says she will listen to him then, and finally releases the boy's neck. She wants to know what he wants. Chu Qing wants her to forgive his sister and leave her alone, and she says of course, but that she will take his life instead, asking what he thinks. Thinking she is a cursed old woman, he asks if there is any other option. He says she could send someone to find her daughter and make his whole family pay for it, and he responds that she can only say that after she finds the girl. The woman ponders and whispers to the old lady. She says she asked Aunt Wei to look for the girl who must be nearby, questioning if he will still be so tough after this. He throws himself onto an armchair. While he fiddles with his phone, she questions if he is calling for help. Chu Qing questions if even if he were, would she care? But she wants to see who he will ask for help. It seems that Huahua hasn't yet gotten the information he needed, and he finds it bizarre, thinks it's unbelievable that she hasn't managed to get that yet. Time passes, and the two continue staring at each other. She says an hour has passed and wants to know if he will only rely on Yi Chengxi and Tang Xian to save him. He questions what makes her think he came there without a backup plan. The woman gets irritated and asks if he thinks he can win. Chu Qing says he doesn't like to use dirty methods, and that if he could have prepared, he could defeat her or the old lady. The woman laughs hard and says he likes to brag, saying she is a level 4 master, and he is just a little boy. He says he doesn't know her capabilities but is sure that she and the old lady have some weak point. Suddenly, she gets startled by something and rushes to grab her phone to call someone. His phone vibrates and he takes a look. He sees a picture of a man there. He thinks Wawa is simply amazing. Suddenly, the old lady enters and says they found the young lady. She says that this little thief hid her under the floor of the bed. Furious, the woman says that now he will die. Then he shows the picture of that man and questions as she was calling him. And determined, he waits for the woman's reaction. The two seem to have been affected by that, and the old lady energizes her hand, preparing to attack. But our hero dodges at the last moment, positioning himself ready to fight as well. He says that if they are so interested in hurting him, he will send someone to hurt that boy too. Then suddenly the woman holds the old lady's hand. She tells Aunt Wee to leave it be, that she will deal with the boy. That woman wants to know how he found him. He says he investigated, and since they seem to be hiding, it looks like it's a relationship she wants to keep that way. Finally, she accepts that he is smart and asks what the conditions are. He wants her to let his sister go, and that he can marry her son. The woman also has a condition that her sister gets a house on that street, otherwise nothing will be done. She also wants to ensure that Meng Zui won't try to kill her sister, and he wants a letter for that. She gets quite irritated that he doesn't trust her word, but after a while, she is there signing the paper. He reads everything and thinks it will be enough. Our main character says that if she is angry, she can take it out on Meng Zui since she is a bit rebellious. The woman wants to know if he hates her so much for being forced to sleep with her to save his sister. And the boy seems to be caught off guard, but he says it's nothing like that. Yet the woman doesn't believe him. As he is leaving, irritated, she asks him to wait, and says there's one last thing. He turns around, curious to know what it is, and she says it's about Liu Feng. Chu Qing says she doesn't need to worry, he will keep it a secret. But the woman says their relationship is not what he believes it to be. She explains that when she was still one of the great companions, when the Empress ascended to the throne, she had the opportunity to become the third most powerful woman. But she chose to renounce her position to be with Liu Fei. Our hero is in shock and questions if this man was with the Empress. He is terrified that the Empress will want to kill him for knowing this. The woman says that is exactly why this secret now costs in his life. She will give him 6 months to get over her, but if he can't, there will be no safe place for him, neither in heaven nor on earth. He feels a bit scared by this declaration. He says she doesn't need to worry. If he can't fulfill it in 6 months, he will kill himself. But the woman asks him to wait again. Then she takes something out of the drawer and throws it to him. The mayor says they are 3rd level wine bullets to consider as a gift for his sister. Chu Qing accepts that gift. Sometime later, he is leaving the residence, and he runs into the girl with the headbutt. She is very irritated, saying she won't let him get away with this, and she raises her hand to hit him, questioning how he dares to respond to her like that. But he grabs her hand without thinking twice. He says he is not in the mood to play now and that she should not bother him, but she says that even that shameless Xu Cho didn't dare to hold her, so he shouldn't do that. Angrily, he asks if she was the one who hit his sister in the face, and full of herself, the girl says it was her. Then our hero, without thinking twice, punches the girl in the face. As the girl trembles on the ground, he says he usually avoids hitting girls, but that slap was for his sister. Crying, the girl orders her grandma to chop that boy into pieces, and the old woman begins to manifest her power, when suddenly someone holds her back. She is surprised to see it was the mayor, and our hero says it seems the children of the Xing family were not well educated. Sometime later, the two watch the boy leave. She says to send her daughter for training at that place and find someone to teach her son since she has neglected both. The old woman says that is a military training camp where people come back with sequels due to its strictness. The mayor says that place ensures that those who manage to leave have a bright future, and she adds that her daughter needs to go there. She doesn't leave room for discussion and orders her to do it, saying that if her daughter dies, her son will inherit the family. Tense, the old woman thinks she has been influenced by Chu Qing, thinking it's nonsense to say that men are not inferior to women. Suddenly, he arrives at Huawe's house. She receives him with tears in her eyes. She hugs him, saying she was scared, and while almost being crushed, he says he made it. Sometime later, Huawe asks if he was forced to do it with 2 women, but our hero says he only fought with them. She says she is happy he came back in one piece and asks him to rest. The next day, his phone has 18 calls from Tang. He answers but asks her to let him sleep because he is exhausted. She questions if he is going to skip class again. It's already late. He says he loves her and asks her to say he is sick. Chu Qing discovers they will call his parents if he misses class, and Tang questions if he forgot the bet he made with the teacher about the tests. Over time, our hero arrives desperately in the room. Everyone looks at him in surprise. He questions why everyone is staring at him, if it's because he is so handsome. The teacher is quite annoyed by this while the others laugh. She asks why he is late, and our hero says he lost track of time. Chu Qing takes the test until the bell rings. The students then debate about the test. He talks to his friend and says he did okay on all the questions, but Tang observes from the back, and Tao Yunio doesn't seem very happy with what she sees. She lashes out, telling the girl to stop flirting with her friend's boyfriend, but the guy tells her to mind her own business or he'll break her bones. She gets furious and asks if he wants to die. Then Tang grabs her hand and tells her not to mess with him for her own good. His girlfriend asks if he wants to have lunch with her, and our hero, unafraid, asks if they can go with Chan Chaoran. Tao Yunio turns into a beast with his proposals. Tang questions why she is worried and wants to know if that girl is prettier than her. The girl feels embarrassed and says she has already made plans to have lunch with someone else. Nearby, his friend just watches the love of his life. Then he grabs him, telling him not to run away because they are going to have lunch together. He says the girl is also going and that one day he will return the favor. He tells him to hurry up because his partner is going with him. Tang wonders if that isn't Yi Chengxi's brother. He makes a somewhat silly disguise and says he can't wait to see the sweets in the window. Some time later, everyone is eating together. She asks if he can stay among the best in the test, and he says he doesn't know. Then, without holding back, she asks if he was with Yi Chengxi these past few days. He laughs and says he was just busy. The girl says that even though he is a man, he doesn't have a shred of dignity. Our boy gets a bit irritated, and his friend is quite shy. Then out of nowhere, he asks if the boy has a crush on her and says it's a good time to confess. The girl can't believe it and thinks he is saying that just to change the subject. Chu Qing insists, saying that the fact he can't even speak proves it's true. Tao Yunio says it's not fair to pressure someone like that and asks if he won't confess first. Then he takes Tang's hands and says he likes her, and the girl almost has a fit. Now she should hurry because it's her turn. Tang seizes the opportunity and says that if he likes her, she wants to know what's going on between him and Yi Chengxi. A bit awkwardly, he questions who said he has to like only one person, and the girl kicks his shin. Then the girl starts to say she will be honest. But at that moment, the boy stands up and says he loves her, and the girl turns red, very surprised. She comments that they have known each other since kindergarten, and that there was that time she ate 13 cupcakes instead of 4, and he thought it was really cool. At 9 years old, she ate 8 popsicles and even gave him 2 that she got as a gift. And in college, there was a competition to see who could eat the most steamed buns, and she managed to eat 10. Our hero starts cracking up laughing at how much she eats and how skinny she is. She turns red and shy, saying that's why he seemed familiar and that he was the crybaby from her childhood. But he feels flattered thinking that she remembers him. Then out of nowhere, he grabs her head and smashes it into the pie. Tang says it's better to go too, and that they will see each other later. Yimao asks if he said something wrong, but Chu Qing says she must just be embarrassed. He asks that next time our hero warns him before dropping a bomb like that on him. Chu Qing says it's fine, but that there's no reason to be embarrassed. A good while later, our hero is finally arriving home. He is surprised to see Huahua there. His mother said she wanted to thank her for the problems with the company and invited the girl for dinner. He signals to his girlfriend that he will be right back. Then he goes to his room with his mother, and obviously, she wants to know what kind of relationship they have. He says she is his friend, but his mother keeps circling them from all sides. Suspecting that he is dating her and also Yi Chengxi, she says he should have a bit more self-respect. And our hero feels this like a stab. She wants to know what he intends to do, and he says he will marry them all, and they will all be part of his family. His mother then freaks out, asking if he is crazy, but he says he is already an adult and knows what he is doing, telling her to talk to his sister who has already found a son-in-law. She says she will leave this matter open and to call his sister who is always hiding on the phone. After some time, our hero goes to the room and she is again on the phone. He asks her to get off the phone since he has been there all day. Then, all sweet, she asks her little brother to sit there as she will talk to him. 10 minutes later, our hero is still there waiting, and they are having that conversation about who will hang up the phone first. Chu Qing grabs the girl by the head, telling the guy to hang up the phone right now. Then finally it seems the call ends. She hugs him, thanking her little brother very much. She tells him Xiao Tao said that their mother is no longer against their marriage, and it was because of him. He pushes the girl away, telling her to back off and calling her weird. The girl retaliates with a punch, saying she was just thanking him, and now he is sulking because he would have preferred a thank you, also not knowing what he wants. She says she understands she was to blame, but that in the end, everything turned out fine. Chu Qing says that finally, she said something sensible and asks if she will meet his mother's expectations. A bit tense, she questions what the woman said. Our MC says that the agreement includes her getting a house on that fancy street. The girl panics because the houses there require status and cost millions. It seems our MC has a solution to the problem again. I think for now, she should help her mother's company, which is overwhelmed. Some time later, our hero is with his girlfriend. He asks if she can help even more with her mother's company. A bit tense, Huagua questions if she will be able to do that, but our hero says that if she can't, no one can, and it seems she doubts if her mother likes her. Chu Qing says there is no way she wouldn't like her and asks if she will help or not. All blushing, she confirms that yes, and our hero suddenly hugs her tightly, giving the girl a kiss. However, his mother is there above, watching, and our hero realizes that the woman is eavesdropping, besides not looking like good friends. Embarrassed, the young woman says they will see each other later. She runs off hurriedly, and Chu Xing remembers the girls she met in her world. In another location, Hu Tianan seems irritated about something. Our hero asks Huagua to work at her company. Despite being talented, there are no job openings. I want the company to grow, set up a department where she can create new software, the MC asks. Unyielding, the woman questions why he would want the company to grow so much, since it would cost a lot of money. Because of the Chu family, he replies. Irritated, Xu Tianan asks how much the boy knows. Even though he doesn't know much, he won't marry a gong and doesn't fear Chu Anlin. Showing even more irritation, the girl sends the boy to his room. Chu Ting observes the night city for a while. It seems the Chu family tormented his mother's mind in the past, and now he wants to find out what happened. Suddenly, the woman enters the room and fights with her son, asking him to get down from the window ledge. Embarrassed, the young man apologizes for what he said earlier. I was too harsh and you were right, the mother responds affectionately. Her wish was just for a peaceful life, but they kept crossing the line to the point of using their son for personal gain. If he continues to bow his head, they will take advantage of him more, and she wants to show that she is no longer a fool. The young man likes her attitude. Next step, deal with Zhu Meng. Later, arriving on the 67th floor, there's the person he needs to deal with. The girl asks if he has resolved the issue with his sister. In response, the MC pulls out a folded paper, throwing it forcefully afterward. Dodging a bit, the woman catches the object with 2 fingers. That person is just a bit weaker than Xing Wei. Calmly, she begins to read what is there. I'm curious, how did you manage? She inquires. Our hero ignores the question and says he is leaving. However, the girl insists on knowing. Remaining silent, the MC asks her to ask Xing Lai. Zhu Meng huffs slightly annoyed and then moves quickly. Investigate whether they were asked to keep it a secret, or if the boy is worried that they will find out he told, and then says that she herself could destroy him. The girl spares no effort to get what she wants. However, the young man has his own weapons. Not expecting that, the woman pushes him away, and filled with anger, she wants to know what that reaction was. There is a lot of smoke around, and the boy coughs. Trying to understand what the girl wanted, he thinks that she took advantage of the situation. Zhu Meng finds his reaction absurd, making him hold her by the neck. Do you want me to choke you? She asks. The MC holds her hand with his. He puts his feet on her torso and gives a push, managing to free himself from her grasp. Don't try anything funny or you'll regret it, says the boy. Apologize, pay, and don't come back, Zhu Meng asks. Trying to resolve it once and for all, the young man apologizes and the woman asks about the money. After everything he went through, the MC feels embarrassed to still have to pay. The woman asks for his sword, but it is not there. Last time, the object appeared out of nowhere. If it is a technique, the girl accepts it as payment. He finds her quite greedy because of her actions. If he doesn't fulfill the agreement, the young man won't leave there alive. The boy briefly thinks about everything. In the next moment, he says he was forced to do that. He makes a weapon appear and points it, shooting in the direction of the woman. Zhu Meng seems to cast a protective barrier. However, it turned out to be an absurd power and caused an explosion, causing parts of the ceiling to fall. He is forced to dodge and now fears something. A shadow emerges from behind the smoke. Now the woman also holds the super bizarre weapon. Do you really think a measly level 3 Wang Chuan would stop me? She questions. Pointing with her own weapon, she says that the other is not the only one with that bullet. Mockingly, Chu Xing asks if 2 or 3 would stop her. Each one analyzes the other attentively. The young man suggests gifting her 100 spiritual stones, but hears that it won't be enough. He then throws something in her direction, wanting to know if adding that would be good. Again, the girl easily catches the object. As it floats in her hand, she asks what it is, but she only responds that it is a test for the young woman. She observes him for a moment. Finally, she decides to follow the order. An intense explosion of power then occurs. Zhu Meng finds that item incredible and asks if there are more. Our hero says he can get a quantity the size of his fist. Lowering her weapon, the woman accepts the proposal. Later, once again sitting on her couch with several of that mysterious item, she is again holding the object floating in her hand. That was just the beginning, and the young man will never escape her reach. Meanwhile, outside the building, soon I will win you over. Your last name will be Chu no matter what happens, Chu Ting told himself. Our young man arrives at Chu Tianan's company. People seem to be drooling a bit over the new technical director, Huagua, and everyone is excited as she explains things. Suddenly, he sneaks in and says he has a question for the director. She turns all red, telling him not to tease her. Huagua says she was supposed to be the consultant, but her mother made her the director. Chu King says that his mother has a good eye for spotting talent while pinching her cute cheek. She feels super embarrassed, but he defends himself by saying he was inviting her to dinner to celebrate her new job. Manhua gets all excited about that. Suddenly, someone shouts calling her little brother Quing, and her sister grabs him like crazy, saying she can't stand working anymore. Chu Ting says that it looks like she'll have to marry into the Xing family then. Suddenly, she changes her mind and decides that she can do the job.
Our video ends here. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe to the channel. Until next time, bye bye.